Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of the Box on the Games Done Quick Hotfix, the show where if you can watch it, you can run it. My name is T-Tree, and tonight it's time for the third and final show in a month's worth of. It's a month. It started on April 30th, but it still counts because it's inside a month of a theme I've been calling Mega May-rio. I didn't even realize that I've been doing the Mega Man side of it until we got to tonight's show, but it's been Mega Man and Mario runs, and that will not stop tonight. Also, with thanks or apologies to my good friend Mr. Shasta, this is also technically an episode of Do All the Things, because both of our runs this evening will be 100%. So for the third and final time during May-rio, let's go to a 120-star run of Super Mario 64 with Beeve.
Hey y'all, my name is Beeve. Super Mario 64 speedrunner, mainly 120 stars, my main category. So we're gonna be collecting all the stars, grabbing the 100 coin stars, secret stars, all that jazz. So it's the 100% category essentially. And yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. With me in the commentary booth, I have GTM and Badronis.
Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
They're gonna help me commentate the run, and really appreciate it. If you guys like the run tonight that I'm gonna showcase you, I'm actually performing at the main SGDQ 2025 event as well. It's on July 12th for me, towards the end. So, and we'll also have Badronis, GTM, and as well as Artemis, who is also a prolific Mario 64 community member who's going to help us commentate the run as well. So if you like what you see, feel free to stick around and watch the main event and my run. And,
Did I not mention this is technically also an SGDQ preview show? I mean, that seemed like your announcement to make, you know? So,
yeah.
Whenever you're ready, we'll get this thing started.
Alrighty, sounds good. All right. So we get ready with the timer. We can count it down. It happens on reset. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. Good luck.
Thank you. It's me, all right, we start on reset because that's just how we do the timing. We don't start on file select. So
Now, that would take about 5 intros to explain why that's the case. We'll just take Beeve's word for it. We do the intro timing. And this is 120 star, the granddaddy of all Super Mario 64 categories, completing every star in the game. 15 stages, 6 stars each, plus a 100 coin, and 15 castle secret stars make up the 120 star total. GTM, why don't you take it away, talk about the first segment.
All right, so we're starting off with lobby. We got 2 tricks coming up immediately, lack to skip. Basically, there's a huge box that triggers the cutscene, but on the very far and very right side, or on the very far left and right sides, if you're able to jump on those sides, you can pretty much just skip the entire cutscene. Very common trick, not too hard, and Beeb's quite skilled. Right after that is going to be lobby backwards long jump, or LBOJ, and we're going to be utilizing an exposed ledge and then a low-hanging ceiling to do a backwards long jump, which... and he gets it with the speed kick, very cool. So he's going to be using a low-hanging ceiling to backwards long jump and build up enough speed to enter Bowser in the Dark World. Now, this stage is very hard, and it can be a run killer a lot of the time, but, Beeb is pretty skilled. And we can get into why it saves around 10 seconds more later when we go to Bob on Battlefield.
Yes, but very nice LBLJ. Already off to a good start getting both of those tricks. And in Dark World, there's several cycles that you can go through based on the diamond platforms about halfway through. In this case, we're going to be going for the more basic cycle, but still one that you have to be a competent runner to go for, which is called Shigeru Cycle, named after the runner Shigeru, who first started doing this back in the late 2000s. So this is going to be grabbing all the red coins in this stage. Each Bowser stage has a red coin star. And this one has these diamonds you can see, which rotate on cycles. Beeve is specifically spacing out his movement to go for this exact cycle, which is fairly easy for top runners, and gonna nab that 8th red coin.
See if he gets double firsties. And he does. So there are 5 frames to hit a wall kick, and if you hit it on the first frame, you get the most speed out of it.
Yeah, more accurately, you conserve your speed, whereas the other wall kick frames reset your speed.
Yep. Yeah, that was a textbook Dark World. I'm glad all of it went perfectly well. So,
and he gets Bowser Dance, a 1 in 10 chance of that little animation happening.
That is perfect timing.
Yeah.
So,
picturesque start so far.
Yeah, for the Bowser throw, we like to switch to a third-party controller called a Hori Mini Pad, and it has like a GameCube-style stick, so we don't wear out our sticks when we do it. Because the N64 stick is extremely fragile, so we try to not like grind the gears in the controller when we do it. So we switch to a Hori Mini Pad, which makes spinning easier and meant for spinning.
Yeah, the controller meta is a whole subculture within itself. It's honestly kind of an art form, both tuning your controller, but also the art that people will do to decorate their own controllers with custom shells, buttons, paint jobs. It's pretty cool. There's a bit of an
as well as creating controllers.
Yeah,
like the parts for it.
So if you have a second, why did we start with Dark World rather than the more traditional levels that people would be familiar with?
So for Dark World, nice job on the salt cannon list. So real quick, that star, you grab a star hanging inside the wall by ledge grabbing. Your hitbox extends up into the star when you ledge grab. So Dark World is the first Bowser stage, and by doing LBLJ, we bypassed the star door. That the cutscene of opening the star door takes about 8 seconds, and it also saves re-entering Bob-omb Battlefield a second time, which is the stage that you would normally go to first, but you have to re-enter it with the wing cap to get all the stars. So it saves about 10 seconds to do the LBLJ.
Yeah, it mostly saves on castle movement, so we don't have to re-enter BOB, Bomb-omb Battlefield, which is the first level you enter. So it's essentially why we do Dark World first, and it's hard, so
yeah.
good to get it out of the way.
Okay, so now we're going to be going for the first 100 coin star in the game. Woms 100 is the second fastest 100 coin star, second only to TikTok Clock toward the end of the run. This is also cycle based. There's a wooden plank up here, which is Beavis trying to catch. And this is a pretty fast cycle, which is going for getting as many coins as possible before this point. Long jumping to make that moving plank. And very nicely done. You're going to be collecting this blue coin from the prawn if RNG cooperates. So there's a little bit of RNG in this start, but not a whole lot. And then the island movement is pretty cool. All right, nice job collecting all those coins. So Woms 100 is the first 100 we do in the game. Woms is the first full stage that we do because it doesn't require any caps or special things to complete it. But it's also pretty fast. And for the sake of the run, a lot of things like salt cannonless, double jump outless, Woms 100 coin, we go pretty fast. We try to optimize those quite a lot, so it's pretty common to reset here. So it's a nice thing to get out of the way, and do it this well is a really good start.
Yeah, this is like, I would take this in like a decent run to start things off. So this is textbook of what you'd see normally in a run. So except that. That was a bad tree grab. That's okay.
Minor time loss.
Yeah, minor time loss. Not like missing cannonless or anything like that.
And that's the nature of a category like this. It's optimized to the nines. So for you to be here, while this is technically a category that can be accessible in a variety of ways, in that you could do it right out of the box, to be able to show a very high skill level, this is like, hey, this is where you can get to after 3, 4, 5 digits worth of hours of practice.
Yeah, B, when did you start doing 120 star?
I started doing 120 in like February of 2021.
Yeah, so you've been going at this for about 4 years.
Yeah, just about 4 years.
Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it definitely shows.
Ooh, the swag dive. That's a 1-frame window to get that.
Yeah,
Saves no
doesn't
time,
save time.
just for swag.
Oh yeah, no, of course. It's the Super Mario 64 version of the Yump.
Did we forget to do the dab on the Dark World though, or did I just miss it?
Oh, I did not. I'll do it for Fire Sea if I remember.
Okay, just got to do that for the SGDQ crowd. All right, so last star in Woms Fortress here. This stage has, I guess, what could be called acts, but depending on what star you select, different things happen when you spawn in. Now that we've beaten the Womp King, the fortress will spawn, and that contains the final star. So that is one of the 15 stages already done, and we're only about 6, maybe 7 minutes in.
Yeah, just a hair over 7.
Yeah, it's a good start so far to this run, so really happy with it. Everything's going according to plan. So here we're going to go to JRB, Jolly Roger Bay. It's the first water level of 2 in this game. And before we go into the level, we have to do the Secret Aquarium, which is a nice little chill part of the run before or after Womps. which is a lot to take in. So here we can just chill and take a breather for a second.
Yeah, like casually, this was meant to be a tiny little level to give you an idea, kind of like the wing cap star unlock. It's meant to give you like, hey, this is how controls underwater work. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of players. I feel like a lot of players still were basically like, oh god, this level's annoying because it's a water level, and didn't really move beyond that point. So, you know, if you are speedrunning, this is a great place to like practice as kind of an IL to get used to water movement.
Yeah, a lot of things in this. I guess a lot of things in this game were very new when they came out, being one of the first major 3D platformers. And water movement, you know, a lot of games you just hold a button to swim. This one actually requires you to rhythmically tap the A button. So it's not quite as simple as in some other games like Banjo-Kazooie or something. In this case, Beef spent a lot of time practicing swim, so you're rarely going to see him miss one. He didn't actually miss one in an aquarium if you were paying attention to the sound. There's a whoosh that happens when you get the right sound timing. This is called Ship Clip. Oh, Insta Clip as well.
Very clean.
So there's just a little space where you can push through the walls of the ship here to access the loading zone. Pretty tricky to do, and to make sure you don't get hit by the eel, which can be a unfortunate run killer if you do. Nice movement on the chests, and he's going to be grabbing this first star in Jolly Roger Bay here. And I want to talk about the next one, which is called Frame Walk. This is the Blast to the Lonely Pillar star that you typically would open the cannon for. But by skipping the cannon opening cutscene, we'll save a little bit of time, but it requires a pretty technical piece of movement called frame walking. You go up one of the pillars, rapidly tab between full direction and neutral to climb the pillar without falling down. And if you can do that and turn around and butt slide into a wall kick, you can make it up. Very. Oh, I thought for sure you had that.
Yeah,
that sucks.
I didn't go forward enough. I'm gonna try it again one more time. I think.
Yeah.
Should I? Should I go for it again?
Go for it again.
Okay, I'll go for it
if you
again.
can.
It's just tough because
So
this is a backup star to go for. If you do miss it a second time, I'll have to quit out of the level. So I'll go for it one more time.
You can't do it on star 2, or is it just too much lag?
It causes too much lag because of the ship. So
Okay.
we pick star 1 for this star because there's a ship that becomes afloat when we do that star, like the first star. But then we pick star Act 1 again because there's fog on the ground that causes more lag because, yeah, this game is from 1996. So.
Well, it's not even necessarily that the game's from 1996, but it's also that, you know, it being one of the earliest 3D platformers, the programmers weren't exactly optimizing the code particularly well when it comes to rendering some of the objects you see in this game.
There we go.
Nice.
Nice. So you're going to be seeing Beeb go for a lot of interesting camera angles where Mario isn't exactly facing toward the level, or maybe he goes for a quick camera input just to make sure to save on those lag frames, because a large majority of the competitive players in this community play on the original N64 hardware.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of love, for like dramatic purposes, I love that the camera is obscuring whether the trick was landed or not in some cases.
Yeah, it is pretty hype. And
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Very, very
And
well
al-
done with that frame walking.
yeah, and the maneuverability is very crucial here because you're trying to grab some of these red coins that are inside of clams. The hitbox will extend just slightly outside of the clam so you can touch it without waiting for the clam to open, but as you can see this one, he's also lag reducing to hide the ship while positioning a shadow over the clam to grab that second red coin. That takes a bit of practice, but he nailed it. And now we're going to be coming into the cave where there's not as much lag, but you have to watch out for the falling pillars. And also in JRB, there are only 104 coins in the level, tied with DDD, the other water stage, Dire Dire Docks, for having the least amount of coins in the game. If you miss one of those blue coins that he just picked up, you will physically not have enough to complete the star. And that's a very rare occurrence, but something to look out for in this level and Dire Dire Docks. All right, we're lag reducing again to hide the ship, which you still have not seen despite us talking about it. You'll see it in a few seconds when he gets around to finishing the star. First 2 more clams. These ones actually open for you.
How kind.
Yeah. And this movement avoids talking to the pink bob-omb because we don't need to open the cannon. And here's the ship at long last. It also operates on a cycle. So if Beav is fast, which he wasn't quite fast enough for the side flip cycle, but he will very smoothly back this up, and good lag reduction as well.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I didn't get. There's like things in this game called invis walls, and you can't get hit by an invis wall if you do specific movement going towards the ship. It has really wonky hitboxes that cause you to like hit, as the name implies, an invis wall. So
Yeah. If you want to know more, there's a 3.5 hour Pain and Cook video.
Feature length film, even.
it's actually a really good video. There's invis walls that he touched on that I never knew existed, or didn't know they were invis walls to begin with. So it's a really good video.
It's an amazing feat of like research and presentation, and actual production value is off the charts. There's not like a third person like free moving camera natively in Mario 64. You have to use kind of a hack to do that. And he does these like really cool like graphics and visualizers of how these things work on a deeper level. All right, but we're almost done with Jolly Roger Bay here. And then we'll be moving on to the slides and wing cap.
So since we're talking about like accessibility, do you want to talk about like different versions of this game that other people can play?
Yeah, so especially because we're talking about out of the box here, I wanted to mention that 16 star is a very accessible category and definitely the most popular for this game. But to play it, you don't need an N64. A lot of people play on emulator. That's totally free to download and set up, which is pretty convenient. There's plenty of guides to do that, but it's called Project 64 1.6. And there's also the Wii Virtual Console and Switch 3D All-Stars, which are a bit less common, but still valid if you want to try speedruns of this and submit them.
Yeah, so like even if you don't have an N64 from back in the day, or you don't want to lay out to get one and a copy of the game, there are modern versions that present basically the same thing, and on which you can run many of the game's categories.
Yeah. Emulator is very popular for Mario 64, also because of ROM hacking. There's a very vibrant ROM hack scene with a lot of very impressive and honestly mind-blowing hacks released every year. And those usually are not console compatible. Some of them are, and props to those ROM hackers who make it that way.
Yeah, just last night on Random Number Generation here on the Hotfix, we were watching Author Blues play a mod game called like Bazer mode, or BAZR, which was...
Oh, I know that mode.
Yeah, basically the movement abilities are randomized onto cards that are mapped to your buttons. And when you use a card, when you spend up its charges, the game draws you a new card. It's fascinating. I would highly recommend any fan of Mario 64 go check out the VOD, or in a couple days' time, head over to youtube.com/gamesdonequick and check that out for themselves.
All right, so we're going to be finishing up the wing cap, the first of 3 cap stages: wing cap, vanish cap, and metal cap. The wing cap is the one we'll see used the most. The other ones are like very short lasting caps that are used for a couple stars. We don't even use the metal cap at all. There's like a couple stars that we use the vanish cap for. But going into the slide one more time, there's a star for completing under 21 seconds and a star just at the end for any completion. So we got the under 21 second star, and we'll be doing the shortcut again. I'd like to actually point out the little backward slide bounce. It's pretty cool. You get a time in the 12s if you do it well. Nice 12.6.
Thank you. Yeah, that's rare. I don't usually get 12.6, so it's good.
Yeah. Okay, so now at this stage, if you weren't doing lobby backwards long jump, you would go do Dark World now. But because we have, we'll just enter Bob on Battlefield, and we only have to do 1 trip.
Yep, so we can do all of BOB in one go, so it's really convenient.
And this is one of my favorite strats, is the left side Bomb King route. Doing a very cool speed kick double jump dive to clear the gap. Chaining wall kicks up the place where the bowling balls will fall down, and then going into the warp, which you may know about, but getting here in absolutely no time flat. And then the fight itself is pretty simple, but has a bit of optimization to it. You can really try to squeeze a few frames out of it if you're going for what we would call XCAM timing, which is how you kind of measure single star records in a real-time setting.
Yeah, you don't realize how many frames you can save in this game by like optimizing literally every little piece of movement that you can. And in a category like 120, if you like squeeze out frames in like every star, it really adds up.
It's true.
Yeah,
even a half a second per would be a full minute saved over the course of the run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the left side BOB King movement I just did on paper compared to the XCAM records saves only half a second, but it's a lot harder. But you gotta squeeze those frames out.
Yeah, one thing that maybe people in the chat have seen is the Summoning Sod video. He's currently doing like a 3-parter about the history of 120 star. So the first video came out, and you know, classic speedrunners, we get a time and we think, oh, that will never be beaten, or it could go like a little bit lower. But you have people back in like 2006, Dragorn saying like a 210 would be perfect, and then people saying that, oh, sub 2 won't happen, or sub 150 won't happen, or sub 140 won't happen. And that's because by and large the game has remained the same. Some new things have been found, but usually not any minute time saves apart from Carpetless, which we'll get to eventually. But it's just execution, consistency, and pure optimization of movement to a degree that has taken decades to build up. All right, so now we're doing the Cooper race, and this is an interesting route here where we go up the mountain to stay a little bit closer to the Koopa so that we stay close to the mountain so it'll spawn bowling balls. And if the Koopa jumps over the bowling balls, it'll actually speed him up a little bit, or rather avoid him slowing down. And depending on your RNG, this can save a couple of seconds, which we used to not know this, and we used to just like go right back up to the top and wait. But we were actually not getting the most time squeezed out of the star that we could for being pretty much an auto scroller. And this is Bomb Clip, the star you would do first if you're not doing lobby backwards long jump, and nice backflip ground pound into the star. Ooh. Very swaggy.
Yeah, extremely clean.
Thank you. Yeah, that's like a second time save over the normal bomb clip strat, which a lot of people do. It's a lot safer to do that, but I'm pretty consistent at the backflip, so.
And here's one of the many ways that you can build speed in unconventional ways. So using a slope there, and then doing a frame perfect speed kick, he was able to conserve the high speed that he got out of the slope. Nice ground pound. Yeah, if you bonk into that box, you can easily fall off the island.
Yeah, that was really close. I probably ground pounded like literally the last second, because if I bonked on that box, I would have fallen all the way down, which would have not been cool.
Nope. So we'll see it again. Long jump, jump dive to build up speed, and he got the speed kick, but not framed perfectly, so that did not conserve the speed. Had to just do some normal movement to get back here. And this is going into the cannon for the 5 secrets. You have to be very careful to hold neutral, as in not hold a direction when you roll out on the island. Otherwise, you will store an angle while flying. So rather than shooting out smoothly like Beeve did just there, you would bank off to an angle as soon as you regain control of Mario, and you would absolutely blow past the coin rings. So
yeah,
very key consideration there.
Yeah, this game has a lot of storing in it for some reason. Like you store speed in multiple different ways, store angles, all that jazz. There's like a
store menu speed.
Yeah, menu speed as well, which we can touch on in a bit.
Makes sense why I always had trouble with that one as a kid, as someone who could never keep their hands off the controller.
All right, well, now we have the 100 coin. This is one of my favorite stars, honestly. The RNG can be a little bit brutal, but here, not bad. Getting the Koopa and riding on the shell, you have a big variety of movement in this star. Shell riding, flying, and regular ground movement. So you're going to grab the shell and get some of these red coins here. And you can just basically abuse any slope with the shell. You just spam A and you go right up. And starting to fly here, this is very precise flying. To go through the coin rings, you want to get like you want to get as many coins of these first 3 rings as you can, which he's done a really good job of entering the cannon with 52, did not miss a single one. In fact, got what we would consider a bonus coin on the second coin ring. And now he's going to shoot through the rings and collect them on the way back.
Oh, didn't get the 69, sadly, but 68 is still really good.
Still pretty nice.
Really good.
Almost nice.
Yeah, flying harder than it looks, especially you have to sort of intuitively know where those rings are when you're turning around, because you can't really keep the camera fixated on them to see them. But now it's going to be 3 pulls to close it out. If he opts to go, okay, he's going to give us the hint of a possibility of what we call double star spawn. If you grab the yellow coin 4 frames after the red coin.
Oh wait,
you can spawn both.
Wait.
Hold on. Oh, you were 1 frame away.
Yep, I was 1 frame off. Still saved time, but that would have been cool to get. Oops.
Yeah.
It's been a really clean Bob on Battlefield overall.
Yeah, this run's actually really good. I'm only +2 on my PB.
Wow.
So it's actually a pretty decent run.
Yeah, there really haven't been any mistakes. Like,
just the frame walk, really. That's it.
Yeah.
And a little bit of hundreds.
All right, so that's 3 lobby stages done. We leave Cool Cool Mountain for later. But now we're going to be going back into the basement where a lot of the hardest stages are. SSL, Shifting Sandland, Hazy Maze Cave, HMC are especially difficult. Grabbing MIPS with a nice punch grab saves some time over diving through them.
And we're going to be seeing Beeb go for a trick known as Pillarless. Very similar logic to Bomb Clip and Bob on Battlefield, where basically you grab the Bob Bomb in the middle of its exploding and you use its backwards speed because of the Bob Bomb's hitbox being right in front of you to basically just maneuver around these sand dunes and then do a ground pound, which lets you clip inside of the pyramid. Ooh, unfortunate bomb grab there. We do have quite a few backups, so nothing too major.
There, we do topless here as a backup.
Yeah, this star, you normally stand on the 4 pillars to basically explode the top of the pyramid, which you can enter, and an elevator will bring you down to this entrance. We can just skip all that by going in the bottom.
Yeah, not too much of a time loss on that pillarless mess up. So we just threw the bomb, so we probably didn't lose that much time, to be honest. So this is a good backup star to go for. That's the good thing about doing pillarless first. You have so many like backup stars you can go for.
Yeah. And even though that Mario 64, it usually doesn't matter what star order you do, other than if the stage star requires a certain act to be on. Stuff like pillarless, we try to do first so that you automatically have backups to go for. If you leave it till later, then you're really out of luck if you mess it up. So second try. Oh, okay. So both of these very unfortunate, very small mistakes. The first time you threw away the bomb was pressing B before A, and that time was basically also not pressing A and B on the same frame to re-grab the bomb, which is crucial to the type of pillarless he's going for, which we call Tamapless based on the guy who invented it. So we'll give it a third try here.
Oh, man. All right.
It happens.
It's a really hard strat, so we're going to go for another backup here. Hopefully we don't have to go for the cursed Reds backup.
Okay, nice.
Normally we do that star by hitting the fly guy, but you can grab that star on top of the pyramid like that and work your way down.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
that was a really good one there. Bomb clip on a whole nother level. You actually do a regrab, which puts in what's called hands-free mode, where you can do actions like ground pounding as you're moving backwards with the bloated bob bomb speed. Also, make sure you select star 2 or 3 for Res 100.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, if you don't pick star 2 here, there's a tornado that spawns and scoops Mario up. So SSL Reds is a really hard star. One of the hardest stars in the game,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And maybe the flashiest flying if you get it.
A little slow, but that's okay. I can make do with this.
Yep. Yeah, we bounce off the invisible boundary of the level with the wing cap at the beginning of the triple jump, and now we'll have to do a very difficult rollout and jump dive.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh.
Yeah, that's tough.
You have 2 frames to go for that rollout. Usually I get it, but I messed it up, unfortunately. This SSL is not going according to the plan. It's okay, we'll try again.
Yeah, I mean, that strat right there for reds is pretty infamous. And the slopes, it's hard to tell really from looking at it, but there's a bunch of different slopes there with the different properties. Like some slopes you can walk on, some you'll belly slide down, some slopes you can kick on, some you can only dive on. So there's a little patch where you can actually do the rollout. Okay.
It's unfortunate, I missed that red.
Yeah, you still have enough speed, but just gonna slow it down a little bit.
I'm gonna play it safe here and go for this.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna go for the rollout either. I'm just gonna play it safe here so I don't die.
I think that's fair.
Okay, all right, we're
Nice.
good. We're out of it. Yeah, there's like a fancy rollout strat you can do there, and if you press Z when you land after the rollout, you can do something called Z slide and preserve your speed. Looks really cool, and you can take like a lot of flight, like speed from it, but it's definitely like one of the hardest tricks in the game, so it's pretty tough to pull off.
Yeah, and now we have 100 coin.
Yep, yeah, 100 coins. So this
Just
is a
some
really
cool-
tough one as well.
This cool little bit of manip here to crash the fly guy into the bob bomb.
Beautiful coin RNG as well.
Yeah, nice kick.
Ooh, that was close. Barely grab that blue. Yeah, I'd say like the 100 coins in this game are probably some of my favorite like stars in this whole game, just because the movement's so cool and you get different RNG every single time, so it changes your movement options. You have to think on the fly. I always think it's the interesting part of the game.
Yeah, there's not much RNG, but there's just enough that you have to be on your toes. So
Honestly, that's one
Gotta
of
be
the
alert.
most engaging parts of runs for me personally, which is why I run a lot of like roguelikes and other games that require
yeah?
a lot of active decision making, because that's something I really enjoy. Keeps me engaged.
yeah, there was one world record in particular when Luigi got a 137.35 that a prominent Japanese runner called Circamark watched the video and made a tweet saying like he thought like Luigi's just like reactions to 100 coin and stars and RNG was like the best he'd ever seen. And it was like semi-viral in the community. Like people were like, you know, really impressed with that particular aspect of skill. All right, be really good job in the pyramid here. You collect the 5-star coins for the secret star. And you also have to watch out for a Japanese-only glitch called sound glitch, where if you were to walk upon spawning the star rather than jumping, you would crash the game. And it's... Actually, I'm not sure the technical details. I'll brush up on that for GDQ, but you would lose your run and not be able to continue. So you have to be very careful about that.
All right, we're at SSL. I'd say SSL is probably the hardest stage in the whole game, so came out of it with some bumps and bruises, but we got through it without any major hiccups, so...
Yeah, I think it's fine. You still showed off pretty much everything and got through the 100 coin pretty smooth. So now here's another hard 100 coin, Hazy Maze Cave, HMC. You've got quite a few tricks here that are pretty hype. One of them we'll see in a minute here. You long jump off of the elevator, butt side off of a rock, and jump and wall kick off a box to grab a red coin. Or you wall kick off like this rock hanging in the ceiling and then ground pound another box. Here we go.
Here we go. And
Nice.
if I'm fast enough, I can make the spider cycle, which is that. That's good. And there's a cool BLJ in this 100 coin as well, where we clip through a wall. So we're gonna see that in a bit, probably in the next like 20 seconds or so.
Yep, navigating the toxic maze, getting some of the blue coins as well. Blue coins are usually we'll get the blue coins as part of the 100 coin route. And heading up into the elevator room where we will do the BLJ. If you're very fast, you can get what's called insta-clip, which means your BLJ just goes straight through the wall.
Just like
Nice.
that.
Oh, and he gets it. Excellent mash.
And here's another trick called Salt Bog, where you can go through the, you can go over the walls of Hazy Maze Cave. There's essentially no ceiling in this room. Just missed it.
It's okay.
It basically takes you into the hallway underneath this room.
Yeah, so you dive over the wall, then you end up in this room where I'm at now, and it's really cool looking, but I bonked on the wall by accident, but no big deal. Doesn't lose that much time.
We'll be jumping over. We'll be jumping over that lack of a ceiling in a couple stars.
I think I got good blue coin RNG here on the drop. Yeah, that's pretty
nice.
decent. I'll take it.
Probably top 10 percentile.
Really appreciating the knowledge to be able to throw a statistic like that out comfortably. So like, yeah, you know, that's that distribution of coins, you know, because this game has been scrutinized inside and out to that degree that you can say with some confidence that like, yeah, that's one of the best placements you can get.
Yeah, there's like exactly a 53% chance the coin will fall from the eyeball platform. Oh, sign clip.
I did not get it. It's okay. I'll try it again one more time.
Okay, GTM explain sign clip.
So this is a fairly new optimization found through a brute forcer used by Cryptolith, which basically just like spams any possible series of inputs.
I believe Palix actually found it originally, then Krith came up with the setup.
Oh, I see. Well, my mistake for getting that wrong. But to put it very simply, imagine a couple frame perfect inputs that gets Mario just in between those two walls, which is, you know, the wall on your left side and then the walls of the sign, because the sign is just made up of a bunch of tiny walls. And when you're able to get in between those two walls, the game pushes Mario out of bounds just enough they can fall into the lower sections of the stage to collect swimming beasts in the cavern, as well as other stars that are on the bottom level of Hazy Maze Cave.
Yeah, we've always done a trick called box jump, which goes triple jumps on a box to go over the ceiling of the rolling rock cavern. But in this case, we can use the sign without even going more than 50 feet from the starting platform. But this is like amazingly precise, probably the most precise setup in the game.
So a 6-frame crawl.
Oh, I got
it.
And then, nice. Let's go. So it's a 6-frame crawl and then 3 frame perfect inputs all on the same frame.
Yeah.
And then these hops up this super slippery slope can always be pretty tricky.
Yeah,
but
so that didn't save time because I missed the jumps there, but I got the clip, so that's cool.
Nice. Are you going to go for more sign clips or do box jump for
No, just that. I'm going to go for something that's also extremely hard called Toxic Maze BLJ. So I'm going to go for it once. If I miss it, I won't go for it again. It's a really hard strat.
Right, we will see box jump for that regardless.
Yep.
This is
lack of a ceiling.
Away we go. This is the room underneath the, well, where you got the red coins. Ooh, not enough speed.
Not enough speed.
That's okay.
Okay. You got the BLJ. You demonstrated what was possible. But if you had enough speed, you would clip through the door and into this, the room behind it where the Toxic Maze star is.
Yeah, unfortunate. It's a really hard, you have to like mash really fast and get it over there, but we'll just go for the normal strat.
Is there a specific cadence to doing BLJ mashing, or is it really just as much as you can punch out?
So it depends on the setup you do for that strat. I was doing a newer setup that was found by, who was that found by?
Tabascoth?
I don't know.
Wasn't it Tabascoth?
It might have been Tabascoth.
I think it was Tabascoth, yeah. So Tabascoth came up with like a new setup for that. Oh.
I was actually going to say your angle looked a bit sketchy there.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for the elevator.
I haven't done this in a while, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Just wait for the elevator again. That, I guess. But yeah, Tabascoth came out with like another setup for the Toxic Maze BLJ. The old setup, you would have to angle yourself going to the left. And you can't mash too fast on the old setup. Otherwise, you'll just clip through the wall immediately and not gain speed. But for the new setup, I feel like you still have to mash like really fast, but like not too fast. Because I think if you mash too fast, I think you end up not keeping your speed going down the hallway where the rocks are. So it's kind of it's kind of how niche how many times you have to BLJ to make that work. So you can't
hard to
mash too
explain.
fast.
Are we doing GTM slide?
No.
Well, he collected watch for rolling rocks as
Oh,
a
yeah.
backup
Crap.
for messing up Toxic Maze BLJ. So unfortunately not. But what these two are referring to is I have nothing to do with the actual creation of the trick, but just a little funny meme term. But basically, what he would have done is he would have done a C up in front of a slippery slope, which Mario tries to skid it. Like the game kind of simulates this sort of friction, but if you position that right in front of a slippery slope, the game will accelerate Mario more than the game tries to stop him from skidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see a good example of that in TTM, Tall Mountain, which is until like another hour from now, or maybe not an hour, maybe like 40 minutes. So
Hardest star in the game right there.
oh yeah, Toad
True.
Star, very hard. I had to concentrate on that one.
I mean, you have to remember it's there. It's not that free. I've seen people walk out of the room without getting those before. Not usually during speedruns, but
The ground pound's kind of hard.
Yeah, it is kind of hard when you think about it. All right, so now we're done with Shifting Sandland and Hazy Maze Cave. We're on to the Lethal Lava Land. This is probably the easiest stage in all of Basement, in my opinion, which is why we kind of save it for last. And it's good for castle movement to grab the 50-star MIPS. So nothing really much to talk about here other than grabbing a few stars like this one, which is called Logless. So you just kind of
It's still
fly
not
over
super easy.
Yeah, you can just fly over the wall there. You're intending to grab a log and walk on the log and wake the log, as we call it in the community. But you can fly over the wall and not disrupt the log and let it sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a couple bully stars here. The black balls with the horns are called bullies.
I didn't expect it a ledge grab skip there, so just do that instead.
Nice.
Yeah, my angle was a little off there, so I was expecting to grab the ledge, but I actually skipped it. So
Yeah, for the next star, there's a nice triple kill lineup that you can do to kill the 3 small bullies before the big one will drop down. We'll see if he gets that. Pretty easy to do for someone of Beeves' level, but still looks pretty cool.
missed the long jump there, so I'm gonna have to.
Were you going for ledge grab skip again?
Yeah, I was. All right, I got the triple bully
Nice.
kill at least.
Very good.
And it's funny to hear you say this is the easiest level in Basement, because a lot of those movements towards bully platforms and the one to get logless are relatively precise from what I understand, from a layperson's perspective. But I guess once you have those dialed in.
Yeah, it's the easiest star in Basement. Like, everything's relative.
Fair.
That is true.
Trying to think
And
of a good analog.
We're not saying it's an easy stage. All of Basement's really hard. Like, this is probably one of the hardest parts of the entire run. Is just this gauntlet of Basement stages all in a row.
I always like seeing some shell movement. Lethal Lava Land 100 is one of the maybe 3 stars in the game where you ride the shell.
That eyeball has weird hitboxes where you have to look at him in a certain way, otherwise he won't see you, even if you are looking directly into his eye.
Probably has like cataracts or something.
All right.
You need to go see Rock Chalk.
Rock Chalk's well, I wouldn't say exactly former, but he hasn't been active recently in the 120 star scene, but he is a pretty skilled 120 runner and also an optometrist.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Ooh, nice pole skip. Okay,
Oh,
didn't
I
get
tried
the
to go for
second pole
one.
skip.
I missed it. It's okay. A little risky to go for that because you can have a chance to fall down all the way down. So that's okay.
One more star in Lethal Lava Land. This one is also inside the volcano. riding on the elevators. Funny thing is, in the volcano, you're supposed to like go backwards from where you spawn to get on a elevator, but it just takes you to where you can burn up to this elevator. So we just do that to skip a pretty long elevator ride. And then some nice side flips to minimize the time spent climbing poles, and you get the 50th star. Which will spawn the second MIPS, which is exactly how we route it so we can leave basement and never come back.
For now.
Excellent grab.
Yeah, that grab's extremely hard. That's probably like the hardest castle movement in the whole game is grabbing MIPS after Lethal Lava Land.
Unless you count Wilco Clip.
Yeah, Wilco Clip's also pretty
True.
hard. But that one's like, it's also optional. This one you have to do, so.
Yeah. You know what else is optional? SBLJ.
Also true.
True.
SBLJ standing for
So-
side backwards long jump that you do to skip the 30-star door. You typically see it in 0 and 1 star.
All right. So, wait. Did you do metal cap? Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. I'm an idiot. Okay, this is our
don't
final
worry.
cap
These
stage.
These things go by fast. You blink and you miss it. Turn your head away, you miss it. The only one who isn't missing it is B.
Funny thing is, he probably did metal cap blinkless, as we call it. Okay. Nice.
Is he gonna get the text box skip?
Bold.
Hold.
Bold.
Siglemic.
Siglemic.
Always wanted to say that.
Sorry, it wasn't as
In Japan, they
enthusiastic
call
as you
that
thought.
blue switch fantasy.
That's shit. It's honestly, Blue Switch Fantasy is so much cooler than just shouting Siglemic.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
so
With
we're
the
done.
Mario 64 remix album, I might have to call it Blue Switch Fantasy.
Yeah. Someone
I
made
only
it.
know
they
about
did-
the blue. I only know about the Blue Switch Fantasy from Batora, like the one who called it Blue Switch Fantasy. And I was like, what does that even stand for? What even
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, but Tora is a very popular streamer in Japan who held many 120-star world records, going back as far as like the late 2000s. But even as late as 2021, I believe, got a world record in 120-star. But he had like someone in his community made like an anime opening for him, and then it's like a song like Go Batora. But you know, one of the things in it is the Blue Switch Fantasy, and that's kind of it was a meme. I kind of wish it was around more because I really like that video.
It was a good video. It was like I don't know if
Wait, are you
you're watching
killing the
GDQ.
penguin?
I assume a lot of people watch anime, but it's like an anime opening theme song. Gave me that vibe.
At GDQ, are you gonna try to do the penguin trick
I could.
or trick the
Maybe.
mama penguin?
Maybe. We'll see. I know there's a meme that you can send the penguin off to the side and watch it fall, but I didn't do it there.
Yeah.
When you're
Cool
doing this
Mountain-
game for so long and like you're doing 120 star, this entire game is just on autopilot. It's just like you go through the motions and then you just kind of don't think about what you're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, you want
kinda
to
hard to
trust
think
your
on the
muscle
fly.
memory most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stage is one of the easier ones, but you still have to be pretty careful. There's some pitfalls that can be really damaging if you mess up.
Chad and I were
Yeah.
having the same thought. You could turn the fate of the penguin into an incentive. Make it like Super
Definitely
Metroid.
We thought
Save
about
or
it,
Don't.
or we were thinking about it.
Very good.
Very good, as Cheese would say. All right, CCM Reds, this one's fun. You take a little belly slide around here. Actually get a lot of speed belly sliding on the slippery snow.
Ooh, that was really close,
Nice.
actually. Oops, I talked.
Oh,
you woke the
accidentally triggered
penguin,
the
woke the
penguin.
mom.
Woke me.
Imagine having fun with ice physics. Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Y'all are just built different that way.
Yeah, ice physics aren't really too bad in this game.
That's fair.
You don't really slide around as much as you would think. Ooh, I don't know if I
Is that
like this
gonna make
angle,
it?
guys.
You got it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
we're
Nice.
good. We're good.
That was close.
I appreciate that while the producer has used the instant replay feature we have here on Hotfix to show off all of your swag strats and the Best execution. We also just got a replay of talking to the penguin.
Nice.
Oh, let's go.
Yin and yang.
Waking the penguin.
This game has it all.
All right, so here we're doing the 100 coin now. We're gonna combine it with the penguin race. It's pretty infamous. A lot of people, especially me, when we were kids, had a hard time racing the penguin, but it's pretty trivial in the speed run. And we're gonna go for something called Atom Pass route, which does like a slide skip, and it rubber bands the penguin to finish the race faster. It saves about a second. If I grab all the coins here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. And then if you do a slide skip here, bam, there you
Nice.
go. Just saved a second.
But you also have to not miss any coins. No pressure.
Yeah, those coins
And
aren't
you
too
got
bad.
'em.
Once you're like past the slide part, you can kind of breathe easy.
Yeah. Fun fact, I was counting this up sort of recently. There's 400 coin stars that are not combined with the red coins. So that's the most common thing to combine it with because they're worth coins. But in this stage, the penguin race, shifting sand land, the secrets in the pyramid, lethal lava land, the top of the volcano star, and tick-tock clock, stomp on the thwomp, are the 4 stars that are not combined with the red coins. All right, and one more is the snowman's head. This one's pretty comfy. Nice.
Yeah, this one's not too bad. You just got to reach certain
Wake the
checkpoints,
snowball.
and then the snowball kind of chases you, and you just grab the star afterwards. I don't want to say it's one of the easier stars in the game, but kind of easy.
Whee!
Hey,
Yeah,
a
I'm showing
couple of
off the
quick
ice
announcements
physics here.
for people who've been impressed with what's going on so far. I just want to remind you that SGDQ 2025 will be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, July 6th to 13th. If you're interested in attending and potentially seeing this run in person, make sure to register for the event. We do have late registration available, so use !SGDQ in Twitch chat or visit gdq.gg for more information.
We'll be there.
I should hope so.
You better be.
Yeah, while you're over at gdq.gg or gamesdonequick.com, you can also take a look at prize submissions, which I believe remain open for SGDQ 25. So if you have any Mario-themed prizes you'd be interested in making or donating to the event, that would be pretty cool too.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
All right. Now we are in the ghost level, Big Boo's Haunt, BBH. Starting out with go on a ghost hunt, killing 5 boos around and getting a door skip. That's pretty cool. Very smooth movement here, basically making light work of the boos and the scene transitions, also trying to kill them in a way that you're not standing still with the text box, other than that one, which is pretty unavoidable. There's 2 boos behind the painting here that we can try to double kill. Nice, even with the firstie.
Yeah, I got the firstie there, which kind of messes up my setup, but that's okay. Because you can do another door skip after that one. But we got the first one, so at least I was able to show off something.
Yeah.
And that strat is a Japanese version exclusive. We also forgot to mention why we play on the Japanese version. It's the fastest version to play for 120 star. Not by much. You're only saving around like 3 seconds roughly. But if you want to save 3 seconds and you're doing 120, switch to the Japanese version.
Another very niche time save is setting your audio setting and file select to mono, which over the course of the run, usually it doesn't save very much time, but it's one of those why not things that you can do right before the run just to get that extra bit of time save. Very hidden time save, I should say.
Yeah, I think you might save a second or 2. But also, I do know that sometimes I think my practice ROM is in stereo, and sometimes when I hear the blue coin fall, I can actually hear where it is. So I'm wondering if it's worth having it in stereo anyway.
Possibly.
Yeah, the reason why it goes to mono the stereo is because the game actually lags when it tries to render the stereo left and right audio channels. So that's why.
Yeah, it just adds a little bit more processing.
Yeah. And that's usually because of when you're on the DDD sub, the Dire Dire Dog sub, which is the second water level, there's like a little drum beat that kicks in with the music, and that's kind of what causes the lag to happen.
Oh, it's that specific?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then the other part of the reason of why Dire Dire Docks lag so much is that, like I mentioned earlier, it was the late 90s, one of the earliest 3D platformers. The devs weren't exactly knowing what they were doing the entire time when programming some of the aspects of the game. So they would make the submarine render on every single frame when that wasn't exactly necessary, which is why it lags so much, which you'll see in a second.
Yeah. We can also attempt a double star spawn on BBH right there, which he went for, didn't get, but pretty decent 100 coin altogether.
That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, pretty cool star in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like little chunks here and there of the 100 coin because you enter a door, kind of stops your momentum, but then you can kind of take the next room and kind of figure it out from there. Kind of reminds me of Super Metroid, the way each room has its own kind of unique movement.
Yeah. Yeah, so the hardest stage stars in BBH are out of the way. We have a few more. One is dropping down here, which is a pretty good shortcut to get to the merry-go-round. We would call this factoring if you do this on accident, which would be like a roughly minute-long time loss. But for star 2, this is the fastest way to do it. And all the boos just come out of this one painting, so we can just kind of kill all of them. One kind of nifty thing here is you can try to ground pound kill the boo in the air for the star grab. Ground pounding is fastest because you fall with a lot more speed from ground pound. So you try to grab every star with a ground pound and also hitting the star as low as possible to optimize every frame. And then the way he kills the boo to get back into the stage is also something you can optimize. There's a certain height above the ground that you want to be when the cage spawns to enter it optimally. All right, Vanish Cap star here. Going up to the attic.
Yeah, it's called Eye to Eye to Secret Room because you see the eye here, the secret room that you don't expect. But yeah, more on those re-entries. It's like barely a time save. I think it saves like 0.2 or something per entry. But if you were to do that re-entry like 5 to 6 times, that's like basically a second. So if you have like optimal entries, you can save a full second just on those re-entries alone.
I mean, I've known a lot of people who lose like 0.3 or more on every re-entry to BBH.
Yeah, so it's definitely a time save that can be overlooked.
All right, these last two are Big Boo's Balcony and Secret of the Haunted Books, which are the two that we do in 70 star if you were to run that category. This boo here, just chilling on the balcony, the third big boo that you have to kill for a star. It did get a little bit repetitive with some of these.
Yeah,
Wait till we get to through the jet stream.
Yeah, 3 big boos and an eyeball. Like, it's pretty creative.
Well,
2 water levels,
they
2
hadn't
snow
invented
levels.
the ghost vacuum yet, so their options were kind of limited.
Yeah,
True.
All right, one more star here on into the secret books. As a kid, we used to try to, operate a puzzle to go to this room on the other side, but you can kind of just jump over this and grab
actually
the star
quite free. Yeah. They never saw it coming.
Nope, definitely not. It's funny because I'm sure people here also played the DS version of this game. They made a lot of changes because people cheesed certain stars, and that was one of them. They actually encased that star in like a glass wall, so you actually can't cheese it. I always thought that was funny. And then same thing with the breezeless star. They made it so you had to finish the slide race to grab that star. There's like a wall that prevents you from going over there. So that was really funny.
I did not know that.
Yes.
All right, now, despite this being a water stage, this is one of the most difficult 100 coins of the run. Dire Dire Docks. A lot of lag, as we mentioned previously, but also a lot of intricate swimming here. Dealing with the whirlpool, tries to pull you in. Trying to lag reduce as well. These rings, you're trying to make smooth kind of arc through them. Pretty good there. And this one you just have to get all 8 or at least 7 of them. Nice.
That was really good. That was textbook of what you want. But we're not done yet. We got plenty of 100 coin left here on the sub.
Are you going to be going for the fin triple jump?
Yes.
All right, so lag reducing to hide the sub until we get to the point where we actually need to see it. Trimming this coin ring down here, and then we'll have a little bit of land movement to mix in at the end of the star. These would normally be poles suspended in midair, but he was trying to jump on that very narrow top of the fin.
Yeah, I was too far to the left, but that's okay.
Solid backup, though.
Yeah, not too bad of a backup.
Nice. So we recoil kicked the 6th red coin to slide on the front corner of the sub for the 7th one. And instant triple jump dive for the 8th one. Very, very cool.
Very hard movement.
Oof, that was a little sketchy, but we got
Yeah, I was like, is that angle gonna wall kick? Barely did.
yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, really, really cool. Apart from missing the front fin triple jump, really good DDD 100.
Yeah, according to my splits, that was a 245, so definitely take that. All right, so we're gonna do 2 more stars here, and then I know the host here wants to take a quick break for the run before we hop into Fire Sea.
We like to do that to encourage everyone to take care of themselves because, you know, while longer categories are often situations where you're going to be sitting there locked in for an extended period of time, in a situation like this where we're just kind of putting a no reset practice run at it so you can be ready for SGDQ, I think taking a good wellness break makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
So you saw there, I was a little bewildered at missing that chest there. These chests have pretty interesting hitboxes. You may look like you're touching the lock on the chest, but in reality, the game is not registering that you did. So
it doesn't matter where you touch the chest, but you have to be facing the back of it, which is sort of a peculiar way to register whether or not you actually opened it. All right, this is called Chip Clip. Nice.
Ooh, very nice. So, like Bajonas said, chip clip found by Chip Groove. Basically, if Mario does a punch underwater, the game will make it so that he doesn't ride along that super steep slope as if you were just normally swimming. And it puts Mario out of bounds, and obviously the game wants to keep Mario in bounds, so it takes him to the nearest ceiling, which is right below in that tunnel.
And it
saves about 0.8 per each one and around 2 seconds.
Ooh, nice front
you
sub.
get 3 for 3.
Tasters hate him. How does this man save time? Or never mind. But like Tasters literally didn't find this simple trick for years.
And we can pause the timer right here. So.
Okay.
Very good. All right. Well, we're going to take a short break. We encourage you to do the same. Get up, stretch your legs, get some water, take care of yourself, whatever you might need to do. And we will be back with more 120 stars, the other 50 specifically, right after this. Welcome back to Out of the Box on the GDQ Hotfix. We are here in the middle of a 120-star run of Super Mario 64, so we'll get right back to it with Beeb.
Alrighty, sounds good. We're going to start the countdown again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, cool.
All right, Fire Sea second Bowser stage, and all Bowser stages have their cycles. This one will be called Lava Boost Early Ellies. And this requires pretty decent movement, not perfect. Kind of about similar difficulty to Shig Cycle and Dark World. But you gotta be pretty good about your movement here to not mess up. In this stage, you've seen some evolution over the years, but for right now, this is the most optimal way to do it, and the easiest way to get it with plenty of time to spare.
This should make it easy.
Yeah, nice. Like good spacing on those dives to avoid the flames. All right, pretty good fire C there.
Nice, that was good. Definitely take that. A little slow at the end, but totally fine. Switch back to my trusty Hori Pad Mini here for the Bowser throw. And as we discussed earlier, there's a strat, or not even a strat, it's like a little gimmick, I guess you can do here on the Japanese version only. You can make Mario dab. So I'm gonna try and do that here. So if you move his camera in first person view, you can make him hit the dab. Check this out. Bam.
Nice.
As we were mitoring the dab, I forgot to switch back to my OEM. But we're good now. I switch back. We're good. All right, so now that Fire C is done, the sub is actually gone from the level. And you want to explain why that's significant, Patronus?
Significant in what way? Like, there's a few ways, I guess. So, like, the painting moves back to expose Fire C when you beat the sub.
Yep.
The sub is removed from the level. There's actually a ventilation which will, like, suck you out into the castle, like, courtyard area, which is something that you'll probably never see, but if you go into the one air vent, you can get sucked out there. Adds a little bit of lore, I guess, to this stage. And also gets rid of most of the lag in the second section, which is pretty nice. Was there anything else you wanted to say about it?
Yeah, so there's just like a bunch of lag that happens with the sub, and you would think, like, why wouldn't we do these stars while the sub is here? Because the painting gets moved back. But you would think you would save time if the painting didn't get pushed back when we do the because when you do the first star to this level, which is called Board Bowser Sub, the painting gets pushed back, as you can see here. And you're wondering, like, why wouldn't we do that last if the painting got pushed back? Aren't we losing time by going into the picture from far away? And it's not the case, because the sub causes so much lag that it's actually faster to just, like, have the painting get pushed back that way. Well, not really faster, because you can do, like, specific camera angles to save on lag, but it's like it barely saves a second, and it's, like, in my opinion, not worth it. So this has just been the traditional route for many years because of that.
All right, this is the last star before we go upstairs, and upstairs is a pretty big milestone in 120 star. A lot of runs you can kind of look at the uptime as a good measurement of how it's going. It's how you get the pace pals in. In this case, we had some time loss in SSL and a bit in HMC, so we're not going to be on PB pace today, but still a very respectable uptime here with 105. This puts you on pace for like a 140 or 141 or something, depending on how good your upstairs is.
Yeah, best possible time on my split says 139 flat, so probably looking like maybe like a mid 140 here, if everything goes according to plan.
Yeah, I appreciate the confidence. You know, best possible 139 flat. We're gonna come in with like within like a minute of that. Sounds good. I know this is a level with a lot of lag reduction over in the corners with some of the objects here as we make transitions to other portions of the stage.
Yeah, this is like an interesting level because it's sort of like Dire Dire Docks. It's got a tunnel separating two levels, so the game doesn't have to try to render both at the same time. But Wet Dry World's got a pretty cool little town section here that has 2 stars. It has the Red Coin star and the Vanish Cap star. We're doing the side flip grab underneath the Vanish Cap. This is a bit harder than it looks, mainly because of the camera, but
yeah,
well executed there from Beeve.
Yeah, the camera there is absolutely terrible. It's really hard to work with sometimes. We always praise, like if you talk to a speedrunner of this game, they always praise how good the camera is, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because there's some areas where the camera is absolutely atrocious, and we can't deny that at all.
I don't think we would say the camera is good in general, certainly not for casual play, but I think it's sort of like, to the experienced, you know, player, the camera can be controlled like there's a manner of skill in controlling it, and it also lines up the game in a way that a lot of angles are like north, south, east, west, or diagonals. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do with just the 8 notches, which is kind of cool. Like, I think any other game you look at, you know, you've got just kind of a general circular joystick, but N64 really emphasizes the notch play, and the kind of geometric aspect of Mario 64 lends itself to camera setups for things that have been refined over many years.
Yeah, if nothing else, you'd say the camera movement is mostly reliable, as in once you have a handle on it, you can make it do what you want it to.
Yeah, and there's some like very ingenious camera setups people have come up with to make things easier.
All right, here we're doing Wet Dry World Secret Standalone. Normally you see this star combined with the 100 coin if you're doing 70, but here in 120 it's on its own, which has a pretty cool movement in my opinion. It's one of my favorites to practice.
Yeah, especially this ending. We're gonna train 2 long jumps here. See if we can brush the fence.
Ooh, just the fence. That's okay. Doesn't lose that much time. Just the fence there. There is, as we talked about from shifting Sandland during the 100 coin of sound glitch, there's a sound glitch that can happen there as well. It's super rare though, and you have to do kind of a weird mess up to like even do that. So luckily you're able to avoid it pretty well if you're, you know, doing the star properly, which may not always be the case.
Yeah, we're leaving 100 coin till last. Grabbing the warp star, shocking arrow lifts. A lot of the things in this game, unfortunately, it's like there's almost no need to go through the intended route for them. So that's kind of one thing where like you could take your time tiptoeing along these very small airlift blocks, or you could just warp on top of it and drop down. Oh, 100 coin plus reds here.
I would like to mention that earlier Beeve, as he was hopping through these like shorter, or I guess smaller bodies of water that you don't swim under, pretty much every time that Mario takes a step or a jump out of that small body of water, or I guess puddles, as I should put it, there's a 1 in 256 chance of a fish popping out, just as a little Easter egg. And during shocking arrow lifts, I believe a fish did pop out of the water like that.
Nice.
I didn't know the amount of times that you can jump out of the water and a fish appears. I have gotten a double fish before, which I feel like is pretty
that's
rare.
Crazy. Yeah. I think I've seen a triple fish before.
Triple fish, wow.
Yeah, I mean, at double, you're already at 1 in 65,500. So. But, you know, law of large numbers, 700 runs on the board for this category alone. It'll happen sooner or later.
True.
This is one of my favorite 100 coins. The movement here is super satisfying.
And just dissecting all the little rooftops and alcoves. Nice.
Yeah, I think the idea of it being like full-on buildings rather than a lot of the structures from other levels gives you the opportunity to like have the scoops at the front edge of the buildings to kind of catch your falls, and it did seem like the movement there was very smooth and particularly well suited to Mario running and crouch jumping.
Yeah. Mario 64 has a lot of very confined movement, which, you know, to many players causes a lot of mistakes, but when you see it executed to a very high level, I think it's very fast and very satisfying how fluid it can be despite having like so many immediate constraints. So here we're actually doing the Wiggler Star because of swimming strength preservation, which is like a very small time save, but he's going to go enter the mountain here and swim down rather than ground pounding the small island, which would normally drain the water, which is kind of the intended casual movement. And we just got to hit Wiggler 3 times on the head.
Pretty trivial. You can do like lag reduction here to save time. I don't know if I'm doing it properly. I low-key never really learned to start properly, so I kind of just like turn the camera as where there wouldn't be a lot of lag and just turn the camera. So that's it. Probably one of the only stars I haven't really like worked on properly.
Let's be real, as part of a run, especially a run this long, that is so totally valid.
Yeah.
You could just say to yourself, hey, this run, like this star feels good enough. I'm doing the rest of it. I've learned all these other strats that I feel really good about that took the time. I'm just not going to worry about this one for now. That is an extremely valid way to run speed games.
Here's another
Just a long
clip through the
jump, but
mountain.
that's okay. Quick back up there. I was trying to go for the instant long jump there that preserves your speed and you can clear that water gap, but I missed it. But I was able to do a pretty good backup there. All right, here we're gonna do THI secrets, Tiny Huge Island secrets.
And this is one of those like confined quarters movement that's really cool. Triple jump, dive over that gap.
Ooh,
Oh, missed the secret over the cannonball spawner. Oh well, still pretty good. You can actually clip through that if you have enough speed to dive.
I'm trying to do a backup here, but I'm just gonna do this instead. I hope. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do, yeah. Okay. So there's a warp there that you can take that takes you to that island. If you do a slow get up, you can avoid that warping there. So that's what I just did there. It does lose you time, but it's faster than getting up quickly and warping to the other side. So. Okay, this is Tiny Huge Island, 100 coin. We're gonna combine this with the red coins. You can combine this with another star called the Koopa Race. You do a rematch with them. But it's a lot of RNG. It's pretty risky, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And I've seen many runners lose runs to that strat. So you're typically going to see this route.
Yeah, the sad thing is I wanted a Koopa Race 100 to catch on, but only 2 people at a high level were able to do it, and then they've both dropped it because it was just... It basically didn't save time, and it added way more complexity and variables to the equation. And this star is hard enough as it is.
Yeah, it's
Is
a
this
very
the
hard
one
star.
that involves the most combat, do you think? Might that be like the Guizon?
Good question. For 100 coin, it could be. Definitely. Oh,
That's unfortunate. I shouldn't have went for that rollout, but I did. So we're gonna do that 100 coin again in case you missed it.
We'll count how many enemies you kill, and we'll try to compare. GTM, think of all the other stars with a lot of combat.
Well, I was thinking of Bob on Battlefield where you kill like what, 4?
I was thinking that, but there's way more than that in THI. So right now we kill 1 Koopa so far. That's it for the small island, unless you need to kill backup Goombas. Let's see. 2. I mean, there's a ton of big Goombas. You got the 2 more here, then 3 at the bottom. This will be 3. 4. Can we get the triple kill? Oh, no. Okay. 5, 6.
He's in a bad spot.
7. 8, 9. 10. Wait, are you down a coin?
There's one more Goomba here. I
You're down a
believe that's
coin.
it.
11. You're down a coin.
Oh,
I don't know how that. I don't know where
where did
it
I miss
went.
the coin?
Maybe it clipped
What?
through the water.
Enemy drop.
Go to the pole.
Yeah, wait, hang on. There's a Goomba up here. I'm gonna try and grab, I think. Where is he? Oh, he's over.
You more to the right.
Yeah. All right, hang on. I'll just do this. Ugh. I don't know where I missed that coin.
I don't know either. It was like, it was fine until you got to the beach. You had 50 going to the beach. So it must have been like one of the last 2 coins. There's a very rare chance that you can fall, or one of the coins can actually clip through the ground and fall if it makes contact with like another coin at the wrong time. That might have been what happened, but I've only seen it like once or twice ever. And I unfortunately wasn't able to see all the coins land to determine what happened to them. But yeah, I just think you missed one. All right.
Just gonna play
Back in the cave, playing it safe.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that was going pretty well, and then I unfortunately took the death in the cave because of a bad angle. But it happens.
Well, with the extra Goomba, I believe that was 12 enemy kills. So a lot of damage there.
Call it
A lot
11
of
and a half.
massacre. So yeah, falling in the cave, I think you lose like 2 minutes. It's like pretty, like it's a run killer for sure. Oh,
You know, I think SL 100 might be close. I'm going to count.
Yeah,
I was
it's
thinking
like
SL 100 as well. Yeah.
you kill 16 enemies in Snowman's Land, or 17 actually, or 18. It just keeps going up, I guess.
Are you talking about all enemies or just like for the 100 coin?
All enemies.
Okay.
Most of those are for the 100 coin anyway.
Yeah. The Mario 64 has various category extensions. One of them is all enemies.
Nice.
You just go on a killing spree.
There's also all one-ups where you go on a living spree, so to speak.
Yeah, 100 unique one-ups. It's an interesting category. I did learn that category. I just haven't completed a run yet.
And here we're going to rematch with Koopa the Quick. Nice lag reduction.
Oop.
Oh my goodness.
A little tussle
him
with
a
the Koopa
punch.
there.
Paid actor, possibly because of their cousins.
I like to think it's its little brother.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up Tiny Huge Island. The unfortunate 100 coin there, but things like this can happen.
It's the beauty of a new reset.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if
Now we're
you
gonna-
think of this run as a series of ILs, there's an awful lot of them in there. And for any one
Yeah.
of them, especially one of the longer ones like that, to turn on you.
Yeah. And most of them have gone pretty well. We just had the THI 100 there, the SSL Reds and Pillarless, and then
Yeah.
the rest
Yeah,
has
those
been
are the-
pretty good.
Those are the only like big mistakes, really.
All right, heading into what people call, for fun, the third easiest stage because it's not. We have 3 mountain clips, so diving can actually go through some slopes like this that are thin. They don't have actually like a solid body behind them. And then the water, you have 2 levels of water where if you go from one plane to another, it'll actually clip you up to the higher level. So we do this 3 times, and the first star right there behind the waterfall, you would think it would take you a really long time to climb up the mountain, but you just did that in less than 20 seconds. All right,
Yeah, it's
so
an
2
interesting
more of these.
mechanic going into a body of water because it just pushes Mario all the way to the top. It's kind of weird how it works,
Yeah.
just like that.
And hey, if you want to know about something else you can do in less than 20 seconds, if you are interested in getting more involved with the GDQ community, you can join the official Games Done Quick Discord by using !Discord in Twitch chat. And when you're there, you can add the Hotfix Enjoyer role to stay in the loop on upcoming events, chat with staff, and more.
All right, third insta clip or attempt. We'll see if you can get an insta clip. Yeah, that was almost an insta clip.
Almost, yeah.
This is going to be the monkey star, which we select star 2 for. There's a little thing called the monkey glitch where by grabbing him on this slope, we hit the let go button, or he asks if you want to let him go in Japanese, and we say yes. But actually, because we're on the slope, he stays on our hands, and we can jump over to the ledge, and when we ground pound, he down warps to the spot on the normal path that he would walk if you had let him go, and that saves like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's a pretty big time save to go for that. I feel like if you're going to do 120, you'd have to learn Monkey Glitch.
It's one of those things where... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Breezeless.
I got it.
Ooh.
All right, we're good.
Nice.
A very fun and fair trick to go for. It's called breezeless. Saves about 2 seconds. We call it breezeless because normally for the normal strat, you take a breeze that's over to the corner, like cliff area. But you can skip it by just doing like a very precise ground pound wall kick there, which I just did. So then here, this one's called Blast of the Lonely Shroom. They call it Blast of the Lonely Shroom because you want a cannon to shoot yourself into that star, but it's actually trivial to just kind of take the box there and then go across the gap that way. It's actually, I think, easier because trying to aim yourself with the cannon to grab that star is like really hard.
Yeah, I think Nintendo knew what they were doing when they put the box there, which is kind of cool. Like, some of these things almost feel like they were meant to be speedrun.
All
All right,
we're
good
doing
movement on the scary shrooms.
Yeah, we're doing the 100 coin plus reds here. Pretty fun movement.
Lag reduction here for the maze. Nice movement there. Ooh, we're going for this. Nice.
Okay.
A little slow there at the end, but at least we made it up there. That's kind of like a newer strat that was kind of implemented not too long ago. It saves, I think, like basically a second, almost a second to do that movement rather than like wall kick up there from the from like another wall. But if you do it from like where the water spawns or the waterfall spawns, you can do a different wall kick that saves a little bit more time than normal. But I think it's a little harder to pull off. But I'm pretty consistent with it.
Yeah, we had the third and final slide here. We missed the C up, but at the very beginning of the slide, he did a C up slide to build speed like unbounded. And you cancel it with the B button.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
what GTM was talking about earlier with the slide in Hazy Me's cave. The C up slide.
True.
All right, there's the TTM 100 coin. And there is an invisible right on your way to that mushroom, which is why he took a very careful angle to stay on the right side of the star until he pulled left at the very last moment.
Yeah, that can be pretty detrimental to the run. Definitely a run killer if you were to get hit with that invis wall. All right, I'm going to go for something here that's pretty cool looking. Let's see if I can pull it off.
Ooh,
There we go.
nice.
Very
That's
Penguin
really
flip.
cool.
It's called Pengu Flip or Penguin Flip. It's kind of like you're seeing a lot of 120 runners actually go for that now, myself included. It's not too difficult. It's just very punishing if you miss it. Ooh, and then there I just got something called Igloo
and
Clip.
Igloo Clip.
It's also hard to get. It saves about a second.
Swagging out here. SSL is a very fast stage apart from the 100 coin. A lot of short stars. That Igloo camera is one of the most difficult cameras to control as well. So really good job handling that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the camera inside the Igloo is terrible.
Yeah, because it kind of wants you to go a certain way, like following the maze, and we're just like, no, I don't care about any of that. So it's trying to tell you, like, it thinks you should be going a different way, so it tries to pan on its own accord. Nice. Very good ground pound on that star box for the star.
Yeah, that one's called Whirl from the Freezing Pond. You're supposed to like stomp on a spin drift and then whirl across the pond to get to that, but you can kind of just jump over the whole wall over there and the slopes and stuff and get over there a lot faster. That star's called Deep Freeze. That one is the shortest star in the entire game. It's like about 5.5 seconds, 6 seconds long.
Yep.
So it's very short.
You know,
I always
have to
call it
say-
Ice House.
All right, you can keep doing that. Does anyone else call it Ice House?
Ice House.
Zoofy did.
Oh, really?
Former runner. Yeah.
But what's your goal, by the way? Those are pretty good first 5 stars.
It's a 420. So if I get good RNG here, I could gold this. So we'll see.
All right. So this is one of the most RNG dependent stars, and I am going to count the number of enemies just to see if it's more than 11.
Pretty sure it is.
That's nice RNG.
That is pretty nice. The money bag coins can go everywhere. And that one is not bad because it's in our path. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Gotta be careful on that slope. Okay, into the igloo. 5. 6. Nice job there getting to the vanish cap box. Once again, manipulating the igloo cam. 7. All right, that was a really good igloo. I think we are gonna crush that 11 enemies.
Probably
Unfortunate
killed
there.
gold there, unfortunately.
Maybe.
8, 9, 10.
Oh yeah, there's enemies galore.
Yeah, we just take that guy's
We're
life
already at
for
11.
personal gain, so it's kind of sad when you don't grab his
Just
coins
like-
along the
It wasn't
way.
even about the coins.
Just
We were just using you for platforming.
12, 13, 14.
That's not great RNG.
Oof.
Yeah, a little bit of coin chasing there. Backup coin for good measure.
Yeah, it's good to have
What was
it. You can miss one coin in this route, but it's always nice to have backup because the RNG is just so horrendous like that.
What was that 15, 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, 16.
Oh no.
Oh, ground pound, ground pound,
Hold
ground
left,
pound, hold right, hold right.
Oh.
No.
I appreciate that everyone had
now-
a strat for that, and none of them agreed.
Now he's in the trenches again.
No.
This section's called the trenches, by the way.
There it is.
Okay. That was unfortunate.
Oh,
That was
well.
a good SL up until then, but that's just kind of how the stage is. You can have like a great snowman's land, and then you can just get a terrible 100. That's exactly what happened.
All right, up next is the 50-star door at BLJ. Now, obviously, we have more than 50 stars, but it's a lot faster than BLJ, especially if you get a good one, because you don't have to talk to the door and wait for it to open. Let's see if he gets it. Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
whoa, oh my God, dude. I don't think I've ever seen a 120 runner get that before.
Nice.
Oh, that was actually
Classic.
crazy. So now we're in Wing Mario over the rainbow. Wing cap, once again, one of our trusty caps, the one we use the most throughout the run. And here, Beeb's going to be ground pounding to store his angle so that for the next time he's shooting out of the cannon with the wing cap on, you have just the right trajectory to get to the next point.
Yeah, this is
so
a very Monka-esque teeth clenching moment.
Yeah, pretty scary looking, but we got everything under the control. There we go.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be. Yeah, I knew that was good all along. All right, 2 more coins to grab here.
Almost missed that one.
Yeah, that was very close.
All right.
We forgot to mention, if you do fall in wing cap in this stage, you fall all the way to the castle grounds, which is like outside where the cannon is, like where you spawn in the game. So it'd be
Yeah,
really
no
bad if we
pressure.
were to fall there.
All right, now we're taking on the last 2 main stages in the run, known as Tippy, TikTok Clock, and Rainbow Ride, being at the very tip top of the castle. And this is the fastest 100 coin star in the game. And the XCAM record for second star is 55 seconds. So that's, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's okay. I just can't miss a coin or fall. Hang on.
There you go, we're still fine.
So, along with this being the fastest 100 coin, I mean, just overall, this stage has a lot of the fastest stars as well. It's just kind of a lightning round.
Yeah. All right,
I
good
played it
on the
safe
fly
there.
adjustment
that
there.
movement was not what you were supposed to do, but just wanted to play it safe there.
Yeah, there's some very cool movement up here. as we really take advantage of side flips and wall kicks to gain a lot of height very quickly. Nice jump dive through the triangles. All right, and didn't miss any more coins.
Okay. That wasn't too bad. Missing that red. We like to call that red that we missed safety red, because there's coins that can fly out of the boxes here that are unfortunate when you do miss a coin. But it's nice to have a backup coin here and there. Hang on. Let me concentrate here. Okay.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that ending is really tough. When people do that on pace, a lot of people will post the clean emote in chat, and we're like, no early cleans. Because then a lot of people mess up getting from the first star to the second star. All right, this is, we have 5 stars where, or I guess 4 of them where you do this flipper beginning. This is time jumps on moving bars. You might just want to do pendulums, yeah.
And that's the wall kick there. The wall kick angle to get up there. That's okay.
Yeah, well, the rest of these stars we're doing on time moving, which adds a lot of complexity, but the fastest way to get these stars is by doing a somewhat precise triple jump wall kick into another triple jump on the moving flippers. So it takes some getting used to, but top runners are very good at this. And we use that to get up here really fast. And that's also very optimal movement from Beeve to...
Dude.
I'm not sure what's going on there, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm missing that. That happened to me last time I was on a run to this point. Keep missing that wall kick there. All right, I'll try it again.
I think I've seen that happen if it's like you're too far left when you start your long jumps. The camera's kind of weird here. It kind of pans in like ever so slightly differently depending on where you are. Like how far away from the side walls you are affects how the camera pans. It's a very odd stage in that regard. Nice.
Okay, there we go.
That was really
almost
cool.
Clean, slightly clean. It's like a new strat found. I don't even know if it was found. It just wasn't implemented, and it's called moving. What's it called?
Time jumps on moving bars.
Moving
Time
bars.
jump on moving bars. But us in the community, since we do it moving now, we call it moving bars, which makes no sense, but also does at the same time.
Nah, we were on smoke that day.
We got one more star. I'm gonna do it moving. It's called moving reds. Let's see if I can get it here. It's pretty tough.
This one's hype if you get it. Can still make it work.
All right.
Nice.
That should work.
Nice.
Had to get
Cool.
that red at the end, so it was a little slower, but still cool.
Yeah, doing that movement exclusively on moving flippers for like 10 seconds straight is not easy. All right, last stage in the game, Rainbow Ride, and one where we have a very pivotal trick called carpetless. For many, many years, Rainbow Ride 100 was done with the carpet ride to Big House in the Sky. I guess I forgot to mention that. This one is now done with Somewhere Over the Rainbow, where big carpet, or where you don't ride the carpet at all for 100 coin anymore, and instead do a nice trick. Here we have lag to bounce. We'll have to do it back for that. That's just a bulk. I didn't get to explain it beforehand. Back this up with the red coins.
Yeah, I missed my triple jump there. It's a new form of lactate bounce that saves 3 seconds over the old strat. Just for the sake of it keeping PG, we'll call it buttless.
Which, I mean, the strat has actually been around for quite a while. I think there's a very old test of it from around like 2010, 2009, but only within like the last 3-4 years have runners actually implemented it into their speedruns.
Yeah. We used to do different lag to bounce where you would butt slide on the slope and jump kick back up to the pole. Here we go. Nice.
There we go.
Nice.
Good stuff.
So no butt.
There's a double wall kick ending you can do there, but I think it's a scam. I see a lot of people mess it up, so I just go for the ledge grab.
All right.
So now that I like to get that star out of the way first, and then I like to do carpetless. So now we're gonna do carpetless. And there is a chance that I will probably fail this. And if you fail it, you lose like a minute. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. This was found by the passer who goes by Critholith with kind of a machine learning or like brute forcing tool called Scattershot. It was known for several years that you could get from this arch to the top of the castle with 2 extremely precise glitchy wall kicks. But in 2023, he came up with a setup for a human to do this. And since then, it's been a pivotal trick. So here we go. Yes, nice job.
Nice.
Not over yet? Okay, we're good. All right, good. First try is always really good. That makes up for the THI disaster.
Yeah.
Very, very Ocarina of Time-esque speedrun setup right there.
Yeah, we have to find like different pause frame setups and different
Ocarina
directions.
or like Super Monkey Ball. If you're familiar with that community, there's a ton of pause buffering to get the frames that you want.
And now we have some shorter stars with a lot of swag here, tricky triangles. Missed a rollout, but it's all good.
Yep,
And we'll have Swinging in the Breeze and 100 coin. I'm also a big fan of the 100 coin after we changed from doing it with the big house in the sky to doing it with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So we'll do Swinging in the Breeze first.
Yeah, I like doing the 100 coin last for some reason.
Understandable.
Nice little package to send Rainbow right off its way, you know?
Yeah.
Are you going to go for Plan B?
If we miss enough coins, we can go for Plan B.
All right.
Oh, that's the double star spawn.
Yes.
With the
Yeah,
chuck,
we call it Plan B. Which is like Plan B, because you mess up too much, that's the backup.
You always got to have one.
That was close.
Oof.
Oh,
Wait, I saved it.
wait.
I saved it. Okay. I thought I was going to ledge grab there. And that's why I pressed A. It's okay. Well, I did not grab those coins. Okay, just ride this again. Waiting.
Funky pendulum.
As it turns out, the movement in this level is still scary.
Oh, dude.
That sucks.
Everything gets thrown out of whack if you're like not used to like the muscle memory there. So all that was kind of like backup-y looking. So I'm gonna just try it again.
Sure.
Take 2.
Shy guy not doing me any favors. All right, guess we're going for Plan B already. I already missed too many coins.
It was meant to be.
Oh my god.
Meant to be.
Oh,
Dude, just go.
dude.
Just go. Oh my god.
Pole
I'm on the edge of my
Just kidding.
seat.
That was.
Oh, and the fly guy's flying up there just to taunt you.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, you should kill him. Wait, you should kill him. You should kill him. Kill him.
no, there's enough coins. It's okay.
I'm not taking him out. It's fine. He's taunting us
Oh no,
enough.
I've never seen that before.
I've actually never seen that before either.
All right, I mess up that movement. I gotta go for a backup there.
Oh, nice maze movement. Ooh, I like that. Okay, we will still open the cannon, which we'll need to shoot out of for the last star. I got some fancy movement here. Double wall kick. We got that line of
And
5.
if he's able to spawn the 100 coin on the airship, that's known as a Cali kill.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
movement here,
the
we call
runner.
it Cali kill because everything blows up like that. So, that was really good RNG. That was very
nice.
Yeah. But we don't have enough
All right.
coins, so we got to go for the chuck it back up. So there's a strat here that I try to go for a double star spawn. I kind of came up with it. You just throw the Chucky over here, and then hopefully the coins line up. Nope, they didn't.
Ooh.
Close though, close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we call it Plan B. I think I was probably the first person to do it in RTA. So probably why we call it Plan Beef.
Nice.
All right, so not the greatest kind of time we're gonna finish off here, but I'm looking like a low 144 here. If everything goes according to plan.
Yeah, and we'll just enjoy the Bowser in the Sky here. The third Bowser stage, also cycle-based, also some very fast, fluid movement, and one that is a whole lot of fun to practice. I know many runners who have just booted up their stream and done this for like 6 hours, which I'm not recommending you do, but if you so are inclined, you can have a lot of fun with this stage.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do this stage with reds and without reds.
Yeah.
I think Bowser in the Sky no reds is pretty cool looking movement.
Oh yeah, especially the single star record, which does a BLJ to get into the pipe.
The Reds record also does a BLJ to get into get the 8th red. But
yeah, the stage is just kind of the GOAT, actually.
yeah. Shoutouts to Dark Dog 47.
For real.
Yeah, very cool movement on the wood blocks. Very cool dive cancel to start a double jump into a triple jump where you hold back and try to grab the pole. Into the cycle on the elevators. Avoid the Goomba. Yeah, bad RNG there. Went inside.
Walk on the far right side to make the breeze end sooner.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. That was close. You can't fall off.
Glad you
there,
didn't jump dive there
before. So, okay. Now we got the 3 Bowser throws at the end, and the time ends when I grab the final star.
All right. First grab. 1. And these throws are like, you have 1 or 2 frames to hit each bomb. Ooh, not enough oomph.
Little limp on there. It's okay.
Walking right into
2.
it.
2.
As you do. And a nice clean re-grab.
That should hit.
Ooh.
Oh, close.
Nah. If they were a bounce, it probably would have hit. 3. Happy New Year. Ooh, perfect line to talk to Bowser too.
I think I could just jump
Right
here
under the
good.
star.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Don't jump,
And
actually, yeah.
Time.
You're right about a 144.10, I think.
Okay. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Definitely not bad given the mistaken THI.
Yeah. Yeah, that right there was like a 1.5 death, and then the second time we went through, that was like another 30 seconds. So that was like 2 minutes on that alone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Most of the run was really good.
Yeah, no, definitely the run was very good. Like even the beginning, I was like very shocked at how good it was going. But yeah, thank you GDQ Hotfix for having me and us as the Mario community. We really appreciate it, and also extending our thanks to GDQ in general for letting us showcase 120 star at the main SGDQ 2025 main stage as well. My run is towards the end of the day on the final day of SGDQ, so July 12th at around like 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you like what you see here, feel free to tune into the run. Would appreciate it. We're going to have Speedruns and GTM on comms as well as Artemis, who is also a prolific community member, who's going to help us out with commentary. So definitely want to thank GDQ. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. And thank you, GTM and Bedronis, for doing the comms last minute. I appreciate it, as always.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
it was a great time.
Anything that either of you want to shout out in particular?
You go first, GTM.
Shout out to OneTed59, Genius Tasser, TJK 113 as well. Another Genius Tasser. They both helped me get my facts straight.
Nice.
With a lot of this, as well as Callie, who's a 120 runner.
Yeah. Shout outs to the gang. I want to say that we'll be ready for GDQ, SGDQ that is, and hope to make it a good one.
Very cool. Look forward to seeing you all in about 6 weeks on this very channel. And up on the stage. Yeah. You've got time, but some more practice will only make the swag that much sweeter. So we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight, and you all have an excellent time. Welcome back to Out of the Box on the Games Done Quick Hotfix. My name is the T-Tree, and before we go collecting everything as X and Mega Man X4, I want to help you collect a little bit more information about upcoming speedrun marathons on the Games Done Quick channel. The annual Sonic Hotfix is back with Sonic and the Sega All-Stars live on June 14th and 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern each day. This year, we're expanding beyond Sonic to include other iconic Sega franchises, so use !Sonic in chat for the full schedule and let us know what you're excited to see. I'm excited to see this 100% X run of Mega Man X4 with Victory Cannon. Let's get to it.
Alrighty. Oh, we going?
Yeah, it's all yours.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mega Man X4. I am Victory Cannon, and I am happy to show off the Mega Man X 100% category for X. I feel like maybe this is just me, but I feel like the blue bomber doesn't get as much love as our red guy, so always happy to show him some love. It's going to be a fun run. We're going to be jumping, shooting, getting everything we can, and we're going to have a good time with it. On couch, we've got Tempest. Tempest, you want to say anything?
Hello, friends and fellow gamers. I'm Tempest Mask 1000, fellow runner of this game, and fellow cohort. Wow, didn't even start the run, and I already got that stumble in. Fellow cohort of Victory.
Sounds all right. Don't feel bad.
It's true. You're getting it out of the way. We're just getting it out there.
I'm used to it by now, really. Now, I love this game. This was my first mainline X speedrun to pick up, and I'd say it's by far the easiest of the X games to speedrun for anybody that's always wanted to do any of the mainline X games. So honestly, I think it's serendipitous that we get this on a T-Trees segment, all things considered.
Oh, yeah. No, it was also my...
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, T, go ahead. No, you're good.
Oh, yeah, it's just the way that you submitted. You used the form that we have available at gdq.gg/hotfix. And when you were filling it out, you were specifically hyping up how accessible it is, and knowing that you kind of share that passion, and the both of you do, with the reason why I made the show was, yeah, definitely a good bit of synchronicity. So as you were saying.
No, I was actually just about to make that point. It's just, it's such an easy and approachable game. Like, you just pop it in and go. Like, there's no setup. There's no real complicated anything to it. You just plug it in, turn it on, and press the buttons.
Well, speaking of, I think it's about that time. So whenever you're ready, count us in.
Time to press buttons. All right. I'll do a 3, 2... Oh, yep.
I was just going to say, for those at home, a T-Tree is going to be our third commentator of sorts, kind of like how he was present for our good pal Mr. Cab's Mega Man 8 run, which, by the way, AGDQ 2024 for those curious. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You know, you can't stop me from being part of the commentary unless you ask, in which case I will step back. All right, when you're ready,
Not
Victory.
at all. All right, we'll count it down from 3. So 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah. So kicking it off with a lot of mashing of buttons because we're just skipping cutscenes and dialogue until we actually get to play the video game.
Yeah, sometimes there's a little bit of setup. This is one of the first games in the series, just, writ large. I guess you could say that some of the middle NES games also took more of a bent towards story with Dr. Cossack and the idea of having more characters involved than just Wily. But as far as full-on cutscenes, this is more or less the first, unless you count the vial scenes in like X3.
Yeah,
I would definitely say.
No, go ahead.
No. This is your show, man. Don't let me stop you too much now. Come on.
All I was going to say is, like, the production value in X4 is like kind of what got me about it as a kid. It gave me a taste of something I always wanted, which was like a Mega Man X anime. And, bud, I still want that to this day, but maybe it wasn't meant to be. Anyway, that's Sky Lagoon Act 1 done.
Yeah. So, quick thing to mention about this game. This is essentially a sister unit of sorts to Mega Man 8 because both games were the first of their kind released for each sub-series of Mega Man on the PS1. Of course, Mega Man 8 would practically be the only of its kind for the classic series. It wouldn't be a while until WiiWare with 9 and 10.
Oh my god.
And so Mega Man X, meanwhile, would at least have the honor of at least two, I've said at least twice, 2 more games on this very console. Now, keeping this in mind, one thing that all three titles of the trilogy share is a new momentum system of sorts. You'll notice that Victory is holding the dash button to undergo what I like to call dash jumps. If you're familiar with the Mega Man Zero games, you might recognize this. It's the essential, you hold the dash button, you jump, and the momentum's already with you. You don't have to start with a grounded dash, which is good because in these PS1 games, X has a brief startup period. So while it's not the biggest of time loss, it does consist with, do it too many times, it adds up into a slightly noticeable time loss at the very least. And then jumping straight into Eregion, the intro boss of the game. This is my personal favorite of the X intro bosses for, among all the games. Slamming good battle theme as well. He does like to fly from side to side. There's not really much you can do about that. It does at least happen once. Aside from that, Victory was railing him with a bunch of charge shots. And T-Tree, if you want to talk about the charge shots here.
Sure. I mean, you have your basic, kind of like the earlier games in the X series. You have multiple levels of charge. There are often power-ups and other things that you can grab that allow you to charge that even further. So since we're going to be collecting everything, we'll see everything the game has to offer in terms of the scope of the projectiles that X can use.
Absolutely. And one thing to keep note of is that with the half charge, similar to Mega Man 8, the half charge does more damage than a normal shot does on the bosses, and also it's immediately available the moment that he does start the charge. So it's why we saw a lot of that being used on Eregion, because trying to do the full charge shot takes just a bit too long, and it's the consistent strat that we're going to be seeing through in and throughout, which is also going to be applied here in the Magma Dragoon battle. Of course, Victory...
Assuming I have enough health.
I was going to say, if you have enough health, there is a safer way that we may see Victory undergo, and it's perfectly valid. In fact, I would say anybody that is going to start off with the 100% category, if you do see him use the safe strat, definitely go by, because Dragoon is a interesting starter stage choice. He hits pretty hard, and that's expected because you'll see that all of his moves, well, most of his moves are inspired by Akuma from Street Fighter, because, Capcom do be like that. And
excuse me, it's Ryu.
He has the Akuma beads, all right? I know what I'm talking about, man.
You got me there. I didn't really think about that. You got me on the show.
It's the Satsui no Hado one way or the other. Whether it's the Dark Hado or the regular, the moves come out.
Oh, can you imagine if he pulled like a raging demon? Anyway.
Oh, no, that would be like nightmare fuel. Imagine, they could have thrown that into the his cameo appearance in X5's tutorial if they wanted to.
Well, that would have been kind of sick, though.
You talk about how... the boss in particular and much of the level hits hard. Interesting to think about that this is one of the first games in the series to not use kind of beaded or like a unnumbered health system where you can see specifically how many health you have left. Does that really come into play at any point? Do you kind of have to feel out how many hits, or do you know relative to the length of the bar at any given point?
Well, we do have a understanding of the overall damage values of the game per se, but yeah, no, sometimes guessing things is kind of a thing to do, so I wouldn't say you're entirely wrong with visual cues per se. I would go into that, thank you.
The armor wouldn't let me go, and so I got a little off course there.
It's going to blow soon, so... Yeah, I don't think this is good.
Everything with health is technically a resource.
Oh my goodness, wait. No shot!
Flushed it out.
Watch. Let's
just like we planned
so
it, Tempest. Just like we planned it.
Just like we planned it.
I believed him. I believed him this whole time, and nothing can tell me otherwise. I was absolutely not scared.
I was terrified. Me personally?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we had no reason to be. We weren't playing the video game.
I'm still scared no matter how many times I look at this. So yeah, you saw that Victory was using the ride armor, and that's the safe strat right there. Because if you don't have enough health, then it is preferred. Because as you know, with standard tradition, the ride armor tanks hits that X takes, and then when it starts to blow up, it'll still have some time before it does so, evident by the amount of times it flashes. And in this game, instead of a punching attack, it uses a beam saber attack, a sort of a saber hand, if you will, kind of like Gundam, I guess you could say. And there is another type of right armor that we'll also be seeing, and we don't sadly get to use that in a boss fight, but it is very good for platforming, thankfully, because the stage that it gets introduced in very much uses it for platforming. I digress, though. The other strat that we use for Magma Dragoon is that he actually has the lowest amount of iframe time going, so that the whole thing about Eregion and using the half charge shots, we do that on him as well. But of course, as Victory alluded to, it's all about trying to manage your health just enough so that you'll have enough room to eke it out. And once you're feeling very up to your confidence level of trying it out, I would say your best friend in that is judging his sprite animation to get an idea of what move he might pull on you while also keeping a safe amount of distance. And that's basically the Dragoon fight.
All right, we've got our leg capsule, as we often do early on in X runs, so the movement of the run can truly begin.
Well, that's the funny part, because unlike most X games, the leg capsule this time is a feature that, while taking a little bit from X3 prior, it also takes away from what it gave us before then. And even then, if you were to do the any percent run, which, funnily enough, the fastest times, both of which by SCLeeb1, aka Dante, shoutouts to him, it actually opts to skip the leg capsule. And there's for a good reason with that. See, it's good for keeping yourself positioned in a way that you'll especially see used on the final boss. Otherwise, the ability to hover, which it provides here, if you're familiar with Axel from Mega Man X7 and X8, that's basically what the hover does. Sometimes you can accidentally activate it just like there, and more often than not, it can lose you a little bit of time. So it's one reason we actually skipped that. Of course, like with X3 and X2, it does give you a horizontal air dash, which is still pretty good for doing this. Now,
I
of course,
imagine it makes a lot of sections more consistent. And then, of course, that was necessary because we were picking up an upgrade, which, again, in any percent you wouldn't do.
It's also a huge shortcut right there. You actually save a good bit of time just on movement.
And that's the reason why we go to Dragoon first, because you need the Rising Fire in order to break those locks. Now, the thing about 100% is that you will have to do at least one revisit. No matter how many times we ratted out this game, it always comes down to at least one revisit. But it's also the best revisit because, it goes back to Dragoon, and his stage just so happens to have an upgrade that we need Slash Beast's weapon and the Buster upgrade in order to access. So it all kind of filters it. Conversely, in the any percent category, we actually get Slash Beast and the Buster upgrade within the first half of the Mavericks, and thus we try to actually get Dragoon's stuff pretty early on. So it's a very interesting sort of switcheroo. Now, Web Spider, this boss is, I gotta say, it's a jerk. Think a little bit of Boss Spider from X1, the first Sigma Fortress boss, because he does the minion spawning like that does. The good news is that it's not a random sort of pattern in which it goes down and you can hit him even while he's still suspended. And the bonus part is that you can also hit him during phase 1 while he's going from web to web, while he has yet to drop down. So that is something we actually try to utilize. And also, I'm not sure if Victory feels confident with a particular strat that'll be usable in the boss free fights, but let's just say it also comes in handy for that as well. That'll be, of course, up to you, if you know what I'm talking about, Victory.
I actually don't think I do.
Oh, darn. Okay, so we're probably not going to see it then, which is fair enough.
My strat is just spamming, what the heck is it, double slash?
Twin Slasher.
Twin Slasher, yeah.
I don't blame you, because more often than not, you can easily botch the trick anyhow.
We'll see. I mean, if you can walk me through it beforehand, we may
I'll
run it a
consider
little
it.
risky. We'll see.
I'll consider it. I guess it all
Speaking of
depends on
risky.
how good of a pace you got going by the time we get there. I don't want to cause you to lose time or a PB if it happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Spider cost me a little bit right there, but we're not doing too bad. It was not my best Web Spider.
hey, at least we managed to stop him from using the secret weapon, which, by the way, that thing mentioned in the title card, basically the thing in the background in the boss arena. That's got to be the secret weapon. I think some of our community members liken it to the, the Enigma cannon from X5. I don't know if the correlation is actually there, but I'm willing to believe it. Oh. Yeah, that's always important right there. So I alluded it to early. I alluded to it earlier with how we have the basic ride armor. This is the secondary type. I guess I could just call it the flight armor. And as you can see right there, it allows Victory to do midair dashes, which is very good. In fact, it's what makes it especially good in mobile and all that jazz. It's also got a stationary buster, however. So if you're thinking Mega Man and base and how base, the game forces you to stand still as you're firing, basically the same thing, especially with the charge shot, which is why Victory is trying to charge it in midair so that the game doesn't lock you into place just yet. Now, there was a little time optimization that you could have done to get across that spike floor faster, but it would have required a little bit of damage boosting. So, of course, Victory, for the sake of trying to keep things fair for the audience, is just showing you what you still need to do, that being use the lightning web in order to cross those spikes, because lightning web is a multi-purpose weapon. Mega Man 8 had quite a bit of a couple of those for its time, so it makes sense to see here. You can use it as a wall platform at least once, and we'll be seeing that happen again come Frost Walrus's stage, which is right after this. But aside from that, the mini-boss was a simple hit the eye as many times as you can when it's open, mine the laser drones. Those are especially annoying to take care of. Oh, but good grief, not as annoying as Owl.
I'm not looking forward to this.
Let's see what happens here.
It gave me a good pattern, though, starting out. I'll take it.
Yeah, because birds are jerks in video games, and Owl is by far my worst of the birds in gaming of all time.
He's being really nice to me for some reason, and I don't trust it in the slightest.
It's funny, but at the same time, it's nerve-wracking as well.
Oh, I hate you.
There we go. This is what we were expecting.
See, the funny thing about him using the Cyclone attack is that we usually try to do that for an advanced trick called the Shield Break. You're noticing that his iframes are characterized by those air shields around him whenever he takes a hit. There's a particular series of frames, however, when the air shield is technically considered inactive. And so the nice part about that is, good grief.
I was like, you son of a gun, you're not getting me that easily.
He came down to a lemon, too. So that's the ultimate insult to him.
Oh, Chad has the right idea. We should have offered him a Tootsie Pop. That would have kept him distracted.
Exactly.
Yes, I love it.
How many lemons does it take to get to the center of a storm owl?
Just the one, as it turned out.
Apparently. Who knew?
Yeah, we also picked up the arm upgrade in that level, which, as you may have seen, if you were paying special attention to the UI on the left-hand side of the screen, lets us charge up moves from enemies and turn them into different moves, which was used. We went from the flame shot to the flame uppercut to take care of the mid-boss in that last level.
Yeah, I mistimed it a bit, but if you wait a little bit longer than I did, you can basically one-shot that red eye, which is really cool when you see it. I wish I could have gotten it a little tighter, but it's still way faster than fighting it normally.
Not to mention, I'm just so used to using Lightning Web as a constant little cycle of, eye opens, eye closes, yada, yada, yada. Your strat I keep forgetting about, and that stinks because it's considerably better than what I do. But hey, it is what it is. I will say, though, not only does the Buster upgrade have the usual charge up your weapons bit, but it's worth mentioning there are two in this game, and what Victory got was the stock shot, which is not only the capsule that is closer to where we get off from traversing the spike wall, but is also considerably better for speedrunning because while there is the Plasma Buster, which is probably more recognized by those who have played the games or what also shows up in subsequent appearances of the fourth armor or even the ultimate armor by proxy, the plasma trail that it leaves behind whenever it hits its target when the shot first fires doesn't really do much. Whereas the stock shot, literally you just pack up to 4 charge shots at a time. And the first time it starts charging that up, it already gives you 2. So you can't really go wrong with this. It's also useful for fishing out this particular mini boss's iframes because we wanted to do a certain attack where it suddenly becomes open. Kind of like that, but not quite, because there's still a point in which it becomes invincible, and now it's going into a different phase entirely. So I like to think of that as average luck for that particular boss, but it do be like that. Everyone's favorite, not.
Welcome to Mash City.
I will say Frost Walrus' stage is pretty based for having a completely separate Area 2 theme, unlike all the other levels, which, by the way, if you're familiar with Mega Man 8, this game does have the double area system as that game did, and like with Mega Man 8, it's very forgiving in that if you happen to game over, you'll start from the beginning of Area 2 instead of Area 1 entirely, and
let's hope we don't have to see that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you'll be fine. But like, just for the sake of like knowing, for a sake of comparison, if you will. It's also handy for giving you a full heal, both in HP and weapons.
It also, like, if you have to do that, if it comes to having to take a reset from the stage, you get all your lives back. And because of that item that we got in Frost Walrus, we actually get to start with more lives than before.
Right, the EX tank, which has made many an appearance from X4 to X7. Not the most necessary thing out there. It's handy, it's necessary for 100%, but really, a lot of people claim it to be one of the most useless of the X series upgrades, and I can understand that, but you also got to assume that Capcom liked the sprite too much that they just didn't want to get rid of it. That was interesting. He didn't decide to do the air leap that time, huh?
He wasn't doing it in practice either, so I don't know what his deal is. Sir? All right.
Yeah, this is not preferable.
This is not ideal.
His health was not quite up to half, so that was unfortunate, but hey, it's how you do.
All right. He still dies.
We'll talk about the strategy a little bit more proper when we get to the boss 3 fights. For now, we are coming up to the halfway point of the Mavericks, though. And one of the major differences between X and Zero's campaign, because for those who don't know, or maybe
Zero
do know,
gets a pass.
Hopefully, Zero gets a pass. X and Zero have separate campaigns entirely. So unlike X5, X6, or future X games where you could choose to do a stage as one or the other, or sometimes switch, in this case, they were completely separate routes, and Zero, for some reason, gets an anime cutscene for the Memorial Hall where X has to fight the Colonel, which should probably... I guess it's fine. I mean, it's fun, but not always fun.
I mean, not always fun, but it'll be all right. I may just be quiet here for a bit.
No, that's fine. I'll give you some serious time here.
And then I immediately jump into him. It's fine.
Looking good so far. So as you're noticing, Colonel's whole boss fight is about going in and out of these cycles where you'll see him attack, he'll try to teleport at X, and then just jump at him and stuff. Now with Frost Tower, Frost Walrus's special weapon, that is his weakness, so we do have a bit of an advantage there. But the overall trick to the fight is that Colonel has a reset period for his iframes whenever he jumps into a attack stance, I believe it is. And so utilizing that lets you do some multi-hits on him, which is especially nice if you happen to have the Nova Strike, which again, the any percent route would at that case. And it's especially interesting because as we will see with the Nova Strike soon enough, the idea is that instead of a screen-wide nuke attack like the Giga Crush before it, Nova Strike is more of a... I'm going to use Giga Impact or Skull Bash for all you Pokemon fans out there. It's a tackling attack of sorts.
Yeah. It's a more directional attack, like the X charges forward, becoming invincible for a little bit, and just destroying anything immediately in front of him.
You mentioned a screen nuke. You know, the comparable sort of thing would be a line nuke, actually, a term not infrequently used in like League or games like that back in the day. You know, to describe this particular path of the targeting.
I'm so upset with myself.
Oh no!
For some reason, I don't know why, Jet Stingray always gets in my head. Like, it's an auto scroller. It's not hard, but I'm just like, wait. Mostly because sometimes if you're jumping, like if you hold forward then jump, it actually becomes harder to slow X down. So you can actually kind of get yourself in a situation where the platforming is tighter than it should be. And it's my fault. I should have remembered this. And it's a silly place to take a death, but, you know, it is what it is.
No, I feel your pain. Like, see, the thing is that we will tap this game to be one of the easiest mainline X's to learn, but make no mistake, this is also a beginner's trap for a lot of people, and it's understandable because the whole entirety of Jet Stingray's stage is that it's an auto-scroller that uses the ride chaser. Now, it's not necessarily as tight-quartered as the next X game, which goes for Volt Kraken or Squid Adler. Volt Kraken, Squid Adler, regardless of what name you prefer to use for him. It's there's a reason why we infamously like to rag on his ready sequence for that particular stage, but this, by comparison, is all auto-scroller as compared to Kraken's. So the idea of losing time easily all falls down to any room for error that could get you crushed. But also, okay, good. That sub-tank right there that we had to grab at the very end. Victory and I used that time to not dash midair because getting the screen to scroll faster does involve that midair dash. But we don't want to mess it up either when it comes to grabbing the sub-tank, so we usually just try to not do it as we jump from platform to platform and then dash into the boxes and hopefully swoop into the sub-tank all at once. And here's Jet Stingray. Now, Atitri, I'm sure you might know a thing or two about why certain speed runs for X games prefer not to use their boss weaknesses sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean, that typically comes down to long animations or extended iframes as a result of using those weapons. Are we looking at either of those here?
Yes.
Yes, because if you hit Stingray with Frost Tower, he becomes locked in a block of ice, and he stays that way for a while.
He's using... Well,
There it
okay,
is.
at least
That's
you got the funny
That's
kill.
fine. Listen, if he starts doing that move, he's always going to charge at you, so if you just throw down Frost Tower, he'll just bop himself. It's so good.
I started panicking, though, because it's usually a time loss regardless, because that's usually the longer of his animations.
Yeah, but that's all right. How did I gold Stingray? That doesn't make any sense. What?
I mean,
All right, anyway.
I think it had
guess my
something to
PB has
do
a
with
death.
avoiding the... It must have been avoiding the vacuum attack, because I don't think he did any of that.
That's true, he didn't. All
Yeah,
right. Anyway, Slash Beast.
Yes.
Stingray can slow you down a lot by throwing out the vacuum, but I will say what I'll usually do is if he throws the vacuum out, I will just go ahead and Frost Tower him to interrupt the animation, because then he'll break back out and go into his usual loop or that charging attack where you can then just stop him again with another Frost Tower. So I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but it works.
It's like, we don't, but it's not a bad way to handle it either. Like, ingenuity at its finest, if I dare say. Like, you do what you do, and I am all for it.
A lot of Mets.
Oh, yeah.
Love the Mets, baby.
Let's go,
Oh,
Mets.
Slash
Speaking
Beast
of
is
Mr.
like,
Cab.
I can't.
Yes.
It's like,
He gets it. Hi, Cab. Anyway, so I was really going to say, though, you know what I love so much about this stage? It's got a train, and I like trains.
I like trains. I love me some trains.
Meow.
I was actually going to do the yes, you do.
Yes, you.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
We love you, Tom Ska. All right, so this is the mini boss. Now, the big thing to keep in mind with Slash Beast here is the area 1 of the stage has a bit of a cycle thing going on where you see that little thing right there where the train enters the tunnel. That is based on what frame of the cycle that determines when it activates. So I would say that Victory got a pretty good cycle, all things considered, because unless you really know the whole timing about trying to keep your movement on fleek, as well as how fast you're defeating the boss, there's really not much you can do about controlling that per se. So, I'm good enough demonstration as can be. Now, normally at this part, it might be a bit of a coin toss to say flashing lights warning, but really we don't have to, because in that case, that would have required using the ride armor and it would have come at the risk of those train carts. You see, the ride armor being there, you could actually strike the side of those train carts, but then it also comes at the cost of your eyes having to deal with some quick red screen flashing.
Yes, it also has the unpleasant side effect of anything you strike, be it enemies or those train cars, causes the game to lag. Like it creates lag frames. So using it can slow you down a pretty good bit. So, which is why I decide not to use it there. Like, it's a bit of a risk if you get caught up against the ride armor enemies, but if you can move through it quickly enough, you save a bit of time.
Oh, look, it's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my god, it's Supersonic. What's up, bud? Man, Slash Beast is way too cool for how easy it is to kill him.
Yeah, unfortunately, he put all of his points into fashion.
It's true. It's all in charisma.
The ultimate triumph of fashion over form.
Spark Mandrill Syndrome at its finest. And as if that wasn't enough, they also throw in an extra little detail where, similar to Launch Octopus and Flame Mammoth of X1, the first time you hit him with Ground Hunter, his toe claws break. And that means that when he does his Twin Slasher attack, it's not really a Twin Slasher because he can only do that one wave or per flip kick per se. So yeah, it's a nice detail, and for the longest while, I actually didn't know that was the case. But yeah.
I didn't either, but it's cool.
It's a cool
absolutely.
little...
I love things like that in games where there are reasons to use weapons against bosses that are more than just they do more damage. Like the way that, Boomerang Cutter will cut off Octopus's tentacles or Mammoth's trunk. Stuff like that.
For sure. We get a lot of people in chat talking about some of their favorite Mega Man speedruns, and some people hoping to see specific ones. If you're curious of what's coming up on the Hotfix, you can go to gdq.gg/hotfix and check out this week's schedule and take a look at all of the shows that are available this season. There might be more Mega Man in the docket this week, and if there's not, there will be again soon.
I won't lie. If there's anything that I've been always trying to submit alongside a few of my cohorts to a GDQ, it's Mega Man X7. If anyone's seen the SGDQ run I did of a certain Castlevania game, I promised I'd learn it, and, well, for those curious, I have learned it. And it is quite a run. But I would also say that my favorite of the X speedruns, and I'm not biased whatsoever, is Extreme 2.
Extreme 2 is a sick run.
Ooh!
I got off on my timing a little bit.
We're good.
That's all right.
We're good. It's all good.
We're not dead. We're all right.
Minor heart attack. We're good.
It's fine. What am I doing? Anyway. You ever just forget how to use your hands for a minute?
Occasionally.
Yeah, so that's why we needed the Twin Slasher and the Buster upgrade. You can't do it without that. And we also typically get the heart upgrade, the life up in the revisit as well, because there's not much of a difference. If you want, you could potentially get it on the first go. And, wouldn't you know it, if you're a zero runner, it is possible to grab it on the first go because, one thing that a 0-100% run, one thing it wouldn't have is what I was trying to say for that before that pause happened, is he doesn't get the armor capsules. So his is a bit of a different route, but also when considering that his techniques that the game gives him, some of them are application-based, not offensive-based. One of those being the double jump, which also doubles as the air dash. And that makes his weaknesses a bit different. It's funny because that therefore makes his Slash Beast fight actually a bit of a challenge. because his weakness in that case is Web Spider's weapon, or so I recall. And that does not do the weakness reaction on /beast. So
Actually,
you
I
have to
think-
deal with him claws and all.
Actually, maybe it is. I don't know. Because I know Spider's weapon is the weakness for Mushroom still.
Right, it still is, and would also be very
yeah.
much the case here. But then you also wonder, how is Zero supposed to get an actual weakness on Web Spider to begin with?
That's the neat part. You don't.
Yay. But this is a nice stage, all things considered. I mean, you start off with a nice little rotating staircase. It was so good that Capcom had to do it again for X5 with Izzy Glow or Shining Firefly stage. And
Yep.
you gotta go backward.
Nope.
You gotta go to the
No,
middle
hey.
part right there.
Tempest,
that works?
Tempest, watch.
I didn't know you could do it there. What?
Yeah, I was like, hang on, I know what I'm doing. I got you. Like, I don't remember why I did it that way, but it was easier to set up, and so I just started doing it.
Man, you're holding secrets on me and making me look like a dum-dum.
Nah, it's all right. We're all here to learn. We're all here to do our best. Ow.
This is true. I learn things every day.
And it's fascinating how many games have multiple consistent setups for the same trick. You know, if you were watching during our Super Mario 64 120 star right before this, there was a lot of discussion of like, oh yeah, this is the fastest way to do this, but you could also back it up like this, that, and the other thing. And on a number of occasions, the runner did have to do some backups that he knew all of his options. That's a lot of what speedrunning comes down to.
Yeah, when it comes to Mega Man X speedruns, or Mega Man speedruns in general, they can be on a technical side, but at the same time, it's also not as technical to the point that, you don't have to worry about, like, let's say, too many variables going into trick A or trick B. But then it also really boils down, to the game's overall difficulty, which is why, let's say you decide to pick up a Mega Man Zero speedrun, which if you do,
Oh, boy.
cool, but also be careful, because those games
More.
they demand a challenge.
They do. More power to you, honestly.
There's a nice little trick that we're not necessarily going to show off because, it's fun, but it's not necessary. And that being, if Victory got up to the block on the right before the elevator crushes it, it is possible to jump up to the ledge that leads you to the vertical boss chamber. This level is very vertical, by the way. And you can go up to the boss room before the elevator reaches the floor. Doing this also lets you go all the way to right behind Mushroom before the boss fight activates. So it's a fun little trick, but again, just one of those things where you don't have to do it. And really, it's not the worst thing to skip on either. If I'm being honest, the one risk it can do is if you happen to fall down the level as you are attempting the trick, the game will consider there being no floor, and the game is automatically programmed to kill X by proxy. Because if you're moving up before the elevator gets to you, then it's considered invisible. So there is a bit of a risk with that per se. And yeah, Split Mushroom is just a pretty easy boss that I didn't really have to talk too much about him. But we'll go over the routine one more time once we get to the refights, really.
The refights will give us a chance to pick up anything we missed.
Exactly.
I mean, I did accidentally run out of Lightning Web, but I mean, he was so close to death, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it's for those that like to think about possible prior Mega Man game influences that might have went into a boss, I usually think of Gemini Man when it comes to Split Mushroom.
I never really thought about the similarity between those two, but you're right.
Well, that's because the game that's supposed to have the most similarities is X5, because that was supposed to be considered the finale of the X series, but then X6
Yeah, and then
happened.
Capcom said, we want to print more money. What if we just made another one?
Yeah, they started developing it.
I guess so.
Please, could we let Zero have a final character arc?
They already
No,
gave
we'd like
him
to
the
continue
final
to
arc.
exist throughout the PlayStation 1 and 2 era. This little thing called Monster Hunter hasn't quite taken off yet, so
Yeah.
That's true. Monster Hunter. Good grief. It'd be a while before we'd get that in the States, that's for sure.
And also in the deep dark chasm in between Street Fighters 3 and 4. So Mega Man was the light in the darkness for a little while there.
Sure was. And nowadays, we're just lucky to consider any kind of Mega Man cameo game or any sort of thing, which is why, personally, I'm totally cool with the fact that we have Rockman X Dive offline.
Yeah, I mean, there's not so much in the way of modern, but, you know, once your series has 20-something entries, you're doing all right as far as having a decent amount to run with.
All things considered, Mega Man 11 was peak.
Mega Man 11 was so good. Like, I am not the biggest fan of the classic games. I enjoy 8, and I enjoy, 1 and 2, but Mega Man 11, I think I enjoyed more so because of its, I guess, modern sensibilities with the gear system. And I think, does that game have lefts? Or do you just, like, does it use the retry system? I don't know. Oh, okay, I don't know. And it's also because I am not good at classic Mega Man games. Also, I forgot the Switch.
Yeah, the button. Yeah, I gotta push the button.
But I don't gotta push this button.
You don't, but it's also considered faster that way, because you'll notice that the gimmick of Area 2 here is flipping the gravity like so, and yeah, the moment you press that button, that's required to have that ball fall down. So one thing you could do is skip one of the buttons if need be, and then it'll just automatically fall down right there. And instead of having to do the wall jumps up the way up, that's a grammar, all right. You can just fall down. I think the small things.
Come to think of it, just watching Cyber Peacock's level in action, this was the level I enjoyed the most as a kid, and I think it might have been my very first introduction to something like parallel to the idea of speedrunning, because getting through each of those level segments, you're graded at the end, You wanted to see those S's.
I mean, yeah, you definitely want to see those S's. You want to make me think about Devil May Cry all of a sudden?
That too, but no, I think it was just the first thing that tickled my brain is like, all right, if I go fast enough, I get bonus rewards. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, those S ranks are absolutely necessary for the 100%, which is funny too, because it's also just the faster way to clear those speed challenges, and using Soul Body is good to eliminate those yellow orbs, which are, I like to call them devil-like orbs. They count. And they are annoying when they trap you, like in the case of what happened in Section 3 of Area 1 to Victory there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zero does need to S-Class because those are faster. The difference is that instead of an armor capsule, the first thing he gets from an S-Class is an extra life, and then they push back the life up in the sub-tank. But yeah, we got all the upgrades. We've beaten all the 8 Mavs. Now we're into the late game, which is probably the shortest late game lengthwise when it comes to overall stages. And I say this because the length of the stages themselves go pretty quick. Spaceport, on the other hand, is still a well-enjoyed stage by those that have played, especially within the community, because the whole idea behind it is it's a platforming challenge. There's not really much gimmick to it. It's just really... Can you platform well? And it's appreciated for that. It's also got a good theme too, as well, I would say.
Oh yeah, this one definitely stuck with me as a kid because it's got a cool sound to it, and it's also got that sense of urgency. Like, hey, bad things are happening. You got to go, bud.
Yeah, we should quickly talk about the story. We kind of glossed over that
a little bit
because
maybe I don't know. We're kind of far in at this point.
So it's been some time after X3 and Extreme 2, and in X4 we have the proper debut of the Repliforce, which is a Reploid-like military within the land, sky, and sea, and they are being framed for the attack on the Sky Lagoon, which was actually orchestrated by Sigma, spoiler alert, and also Magma Dragoon, which is why we actually saw him at the Sky Lagoon when everything was starting to explode. He was the one that set it off, and he did it because he wanted to fight X at his best. I really question those life choices, my guy, but hey, you do you. That's why I like to liken him to Akuma. Very Dragon Ball logic even, yes.
I hate you, Colonel, come on.
Yeah, now you're starting to make me think about the
Wow.
fact that KamehaCon is next month. Good grief.
There's a
we
lot
got
of
the
things
ground
coming
slash.
up next month as well. Actually, Black in a Flash here on this channel will be doing Juneteenth from June 19th to the 22nd. Extended an extra day just because of how many people submitted and all the runs they wanted to show off. So if you want to know more about that, you can use exclamation point Juneteenth in the chat or go to gdq.gg/BAF to learn how you can join the community of Black in a Flash for yourself.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to
Heck
seeing
yeah.
that. Black in a Flash has some solid speedrunners within those events, and it's always a fun time to just see some of the shenanigans that we get out of it. It's just, it's nothing but good vibes, and I implore you all to give it a watch.
Yeah, if you're subscribed to the Games Done Quick channel, and if you are, thank you. You may have noticed one of the newer emotes is the bird Joy. And Joy is absolutely what Juneteenth and what Black in a Flash's events are all about. Like, just the amount of time, like, you will never see a runner or a commentator on a Black in a Flash stream having a bad time. They're just not about that. So naming the mascot Joy was extremely appropriate.
Absolutely.
For
Now-
sure.
What's not so joyful is the case of the fact that the Repliforce was framed by Sigma, and to make matters worse, we had a double agent in the Maverick Hunter base this whole time. Hence the name of this guy, Double the Rookie Maverick Hunter, thus being a play on his own name. This is actually one of the exclusive bosses to the X campaign, as everybody and their father may or may not know. This stage goes to Iris for the Zero campaign, so we don't get to see the legendary cutscene, Sag, but if you know the words, feel free to say them with me. What am I fighting for?
I mean, we're fighting to finish the speedrun, but oh no, you were doing this, and never mind.
Come on, T. We,
Yeah, no, sorry.
Go with
I
the
live in
program. What
old
are we
construction. If I shouted, people outside would hear me. So thank you both for doing the
Oh, I see.
necessary, though.
of course.
Ooh, going for the top route.
Anytime.
Going
Always.
for the top route. Okay. I kind of forgot you do that, but hey, that's all well and good. See, that's the fun thing about this here final weapon
God.
stage, because if you want to call that Area 1 an actual stage, might as well be the shortest that X4 has to offer, period. Now, whether or not you're feeling consistent with the top or bottom path, they're generally the same length. I think, consistently speaking, it is the bottom path that tends to be faster, but that's more depending on how comfortable you feel tackling one or the other, because the only other time we see the flight ride armor is on the bottom path. So, a little bit of that kind of platforming involved there. I wait for
It
it.
was our destiny to fight.
It was our destiny to fight. We did
Oh,
not
he
get,
didn't say the line.
No, General didn't want to give it to us this time.
Sorry,
Invalid
run's not
run.
valid. Yeah, unfortunate.
It sucks because I do think the line he gave us is technically faster, but it's just
Yes.
not nearly as funny.
Everyone loves him for that one phrase that I literally turned into a Discord soundboard for my own purposes. But yeah, the line is, "My fate is sealed. I have no choice,"
I have
and it
no
is
choice.
the longest. Actually, that is a very good segue though, because Tree, you and I would know that when it comes to Mega Man X speedrunning history, most runners typically choose the Japanese version of the games, but no, in X4's case, we typically run it on English. You might know a thing or two on that?
That one in particular, I'm not familiar with. So if you want to talk to why.
No worries. In Rockman X4, since this game has voice-acted characters, the Mavericks also had voiced lines before the battle starts. But in the English localization here, they actually cut those out. So only the characters that had dubbing in this game, so Sigma, General, Iris, Colonel, Double, they all have lines before the battle. But because the Mavericks don't, that makes this game overall faster because you don't have to worry about the RNG behind which line they say. It's very interesting how that's just a thing. But it's also what makes this game even more accessible as a Mega Man X game, because it means no pressure of really having to import a Japanese version of the game whatsoever. You can if you want
yeah.
to. In fact, if you do, you'll find out that, funnily enough, Web Spider and Cyber Peacock, they share a voice actor. And I think that's the only time in this game that ever happens. And it's pretty obvious, aside from the fact that Cyber Peacock tries to do a different toned voice, per se. But it's the same guy. If you can hear it, you'll know it. So yeah, we alluded to Web Spider earlier and how there's a faster way to take out his health in the boss refight. And by that point, you would have Twin Slasher and the Nova Strike. I said before that when he goes up to the top of the screen, he's still vulnerable for a period and you can hit him before he drops down. So using that and hitting him before he goes up to the ceiling can put his iframes in a bit of a wacky state, because then you can use the Nova Strike on him and it does continuous damage. And it can also bring his health down to a point that it would activate the second phase, but he doesn't do so yet. So do enough damage this way, then cause him to fall off the web and onto the floor with Twin Slasher, and you can easily end the fight before he goes into phase 2. And the best part is, sometimes you can cause the health value to overflow.
Oh, interesting.
It is the funniest thing around. And I honestly hope that we will be seeing that come GDQ, because as we're going through the bosses, I would like to make a current shout out to our boys Johnny Go and Ultra Uberness. They will be running this category as a race for Summer Games Done Quick this year, this July. And we highly implore you to give them a watch, because they are some of the hottest runners here in the States when it comes to X4. Ultra is literally the reason why I wanted to pick up this run.
And I mean, me personally, I just always love a good Mega Man or Mega Man X race. It's just always so much fun to see runners of equal or near equal skill, and just seeing how the game treats them. Game.
There we go.
Okay. That's never happened before. It took a long time on that load, and I was a little afraid.
We actually said the thing, and I'm not even playing the game. What?
I mean,
CDs, variable seek time, all that business. I was a little scared though.
Oh, hey, Victory. Try Novaing him now. Oh, no.
Like when he's
I got he's about to come out of the iframes. Now. Okay, yeah, we kind of got it there. So that little trick right there is similar to what would have happened in Web Spider's fight, but is a much easier thing to do here. Because aiming laser, his weakness puts him in that easy to hit state, and it is a breeze to do. That I really suggest anyone that wants to learn X4, try that for yourself first. Don't believe me that it's simple to get down? I assure you, you can get it in some capacity. Even if it's not the maximum damage you can do via that trick, it's just nice. Because it also just trivializes that fight, and that is a breath of fresh air on that jerk of a bird. And here we are back to Magma Dragoon. So this is where we do employ the usual strat of using half charges or stock charges. We can also use Double Cyclone. Double Cyclone does put him in a bit of a stun state, though, that most people might not want to do it, kind of like Frost Tower to Jet Stingray. But here it's not as bad, because then you can also prep up some stock charged shots while he's in the middle of his weakness animation, and then when he's vulnerable again, when he touches the floor and stuff, he's basically good to hit. And just a reminder, folks, Dragoon has the lowest iframe time count. It's just that good. So yeah, Jet Stingray, the one thing we forgot to touch up on this guy is that he likes to go, yeah!
And
whenever
he's just having a good time.
He's always having a good time. Ultra has a perfect emote based on that mood alone. And whether he decides to dive immediately or not is totally RNG. He's not doing it yet for victory, which is all well and good. Now here's the vacuum move that we talked about earlier. Okay. So
right. I mean, I'll take that.
So because of that, he didn't really have to use the Frost Tower, but it's also just kind of funny how he ran into it. It's
You got a little
slapstick
bit
comedy
of
moment.
competitive Mortal Kombat. Sub-Zero throwing out the ice clone, waiting for the enemy to jump into it.
Yes. It was a fatality.
It's mushroom. I still have to keep the boss order in this room in my head. Like, I know how it's laid out. So in case anyone doesn't know, this room is kind of divided into two U's stacked on top of each other that follow the top and bottom row of the stage select screen. But it's kind of, I don't know, for some reason, this one always gives me trouble. Like, I have to second guess myself every time.
Right.
As opposed to like X. Which one is it? I guess, the XA D-Make is the other one that comes to mind immediately because those are color-coded. And to me, that's great. But I guess another example is like, which Mega Man game is it? It might be 11 now that we're talking about it, where the order of this room just mimics the stage select to a T. So it's really easy to remember.
It has been a while since I've seen a speedrun of 11 or gameplay for that matter, but I'm willing to bet on that one. And also just nice enough that they used the Wily Castle boss theme, considering that 11 is so devoid of a lot of Wily bosses. So they figured, might as well use the unique theme for the boss refights. And thank goodness for that. A small victory where it counts.
Oh, yeah. We take those.
I feel like there was also something else I was going to say that's like not X related. Something. Oh, yeah. Mega Man Legends 3.
Why would you bring this up? Why would you sadden me this way?
No, look. Chat was expecting it to be brought up eventually. I'm just saying, chat, I see all.
Maybe someday. Maybe.
If it helps any, I do speedrun the 8-bit D-Make that Get Me Off the Moon made, and it is a fine game at that.
Sure. All right, you're just really not playing with me today, huh?
Yeah, that is unfortunate, really. So the overall strategy that we expect Frost Walrus to do is if he dives from the ground to the air, you can then hit him with the Rising Up or Rising Fire. We try to have his torso go past X to that point because then that means he'll be guaranteed to bounce back into the left wall. And then by that point, it also leaves for... you notice that he's staggering to the wall in the middle of that weakness animation. It shortens the time considerably for that. Also, just a quick tradition that my buddy Chair G Tables started... the Metal Slug runner who ran for, I believe it was one of the AGDQs, if I recall, right? Shout-outs to Frost Walrus. He's not just a big dude, but he's also got a big heart.
Shame he's gone now. Are you ready for your final journey? All right, Sigma, I got you, bud.
Yeah, Sigma is in his cosplay phase yet again. Tree, you remember what his previous cosplays were?
Let's see. He does the Jedi in X1, where he's got the lightsaber-like weapon. He does Old Man Sigma at one point. I'm just kind of pulling randomly. If you want to tell me X1 through 3.
No, because you did technically get with X6, so that counts for something. Wolverine in X2, Captain America for X3,
right,
and the Grim... Is that the Grim Reaper? So, yeah. And then I really have no clue what he's trying to go for X5, but I guess we'll say the Falcon, because I think his cape is wing-like or something. Look, I'm just reaching at that point. So yeah, we're coming up to the final Sigma fight, and this is where the rubber can hit the road. For any beginners that want to pick up the speed run.
Are you ready for your
It took me so long to get used to this fight. I'll tell you what.
I was waiting to hear his voice clip. Don't worry about it. That's why I paused.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you're now I'm in heck anyway. If you were like me as a kid, this boss gave you so much grief.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how satisfying it was to be able to finally, with some proficiency, deal with him. But I will still say it's like one of my least favorite fights to deal with in the X series. Oh, yeah, I should be hovering. There we go.
Right.
Ow.
Now, for the longest while, I was doing the non-hover strat, which is what we do in any percent. But the interesting quirk about the hover boots is that when you damage yourself, it resets your ability to hover. So we do that by timing out how long we use Soul Body, which is Gunner Sigma's weakness, where Ground Hunter is Ugly Sigma Head's Sigma's weakness. Good call, good call. And
Yeah, I'm not dealing with that.
yeah, so we then intentionally check ourselves into Sigma so that we can then reuse the hover and then fire another Soul Body into him. It can take a little bit of practice to get used to. That said, I'm very surprised he is not the ended you, because this is the attack we want to see him do. It has him going out for longer. It's not a forever thing. No!
I was not paying attention to my health. Oh, no.
I should have warned you. I take some responsibility for that too.
That is okay. I mean, of all the places to come back to, like, I can deal with this. It's just, I think if there was a PB, it is now gone, but that is okay. I would just literally was focused on his health bar and not mine, so whoops-a-doodles.
Yeah, all well and good. Gives me a little bit of time to explain a few more things at the very least. So, yeah, I mentioned that there was that strat going, whereas you saw Victory do what was essentially the any percent take on that, because again, most any percent runners tend to skip the leg capsule. And you know what? We'll just mention it right here. Going a little bit risky there. Yeah, for phase 2 Sigma, we try to avoid having his scythe hit the floor because those boomerangs are just annoying to deal with. So it's preferred to use the wall, even though it does become a bit more punishing. How did I realize you could just stand in there? I never realized you could just stand in there and not take damage.
Yeah, same as Dragoon. There was a little blind spot behind him there.
Yeah. Well, that I knew of. This one I don't usually account for. But there's a good reason for that, too, because when your weakness is lightning web, we try to keep the shots as close to the wall as possible so they can despawn, because if you can hear the web, they're still present, and you can't shoot another one. So that's also what goes into the split mushroom fight. Now, you noticed that the sub-tanks, the Victory was able to use one with the previous attempt. And that's one of the generous things about the PS1 trilogy of the X games, in that you can collect health without having to be at full health, which is a godsend. It also helps to know that while there are full HP recoveries, those don't automatically fill your sub-tank, unlike later on in the Zero games. Or I guess you could even say X7, which that had brought you back to having to be at full health for your sub-tanks to fill. So notable difference between jumps and consoles there, but yeah, sub-tanks are at their most forgiving in the PS1 games, and it also introduces the weapon energy sub-tank, which is also good for not only refilling your special weapons, but also your Nova Strike. So that can go into refilling your Nova Strike as well, which otherwise it normally involves taking damage or taking weapon refills. So there's a lot of good things that go into the PS1 X games that make them a bit more forgiving in that way. Oh, there's that move. Yep.
Yeah, there it is. The end.
Or as he says in Japanese, "Owarida."
That sounds way cooler.
Yeah,
He will not give me the good pattern here. I do not know why.
Well, no. Apparently, this is the move that most prefer. It's just annoying to deal with. I very much prefer the
wind
blowback,
personally, because you can just dash jump against it and survive.
Yeah, I just don't see how the inhale move is more convenient.
Same.
But that's a matter of preference, yeah. Okay, so at least we're gonna go one phase down.
That's now done. All right.
And the moment one phase goes down,
a lethal overestimate, but that's all right. He is
Hey.
nearly dead, at least.
This was still a good showcase, all things considered. So, nothing to be concerned about, in my opinion. We all had fun,
All right.
and time will not be on the final
It'll
hit.
be on when you lose control of X at the end of this hallway and General shows up. So I'll call it out here. When I go through not when I go through the door. All right, we jump, we go through the door, and time.
Good stuff. Right about a 101.30.
Yup, that's it. So it was on pace to be about 10 seconds ahead of PB, so it wasn't huge, but that death set us back a little ways. But still, we got through it. Honestly, overall, I feel pretty good about it. It was a little silly to, just quit paying attention there at the end, and I lost more time to Stingray than I would have liked. But you know what? It was fun. It was a good run, all in all, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Good. I'm glad to hear you had a good time. Any shout-outs from the two of you?
You can go first if you'd like, yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I would like to shout out, everyone in my community who are always so awesome about, wishing me the best and giving me support, my friends and family. And shout-outs to you, Tempest, for agreeing to come. I appreciate it. Is actually because of, and for inviting me to a race with you later on. And also shout outs to Uber. Uber's in chat, I think, because Uber's been helping me out, not just with X4, but with the X8 demake as well, which has also been really cool. Uber Famicom. Yeah. So just to everyone who's helped me learn this game and improve and figure stuff out, I appreciate it. And yeah, I think that's about it. What about you?
That's too funny. Yeah, you literally took one of those away from me partially. So yeah, I'll start off by giving a shout out to community member Ahmad, who also runs this game and just about all the other X games as far as I can tell. We love Ahmad, and he's going to be running his second Derpathon event sometime next month, near the end of the month. I believe it starts around the 27th. And as Victory alluded to, myself, him, and our friends May-rio and Stalbozen will all be running Mega Man X4. We'll be doing a X or 0 race. I think we have the choice of deciding who we want to go for. It'll all be 100%, and it'll be a good time. I'm also going to be racing my friends Ipe Hopue, or JP, as well as May-rio for X8 Vanilla. And Victory will also be doing X8 Demake a little bit down the line. And I know I've been invited to help with that commentary too. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
It sounds like the both of you will be keeping busy performing in a lot of cool events. And, the shout-outs to the Community Classic. Both of the runs tonight are runs from runners and communities that just have great love for their own. So thank you to the both of you for being on with us this evening.
Oh, absolutely. And hey, if you'd like to learn this game yourself, I will say go to the megamanleaderboards.net website, where our About tab page has all the Discord communities for all the sub-series of speedrunning communities. We are a general collective. We are filled with nothing but base people, most of whom are more than willing to help teach you the ways of getting involved with these games. And while Victory played the original PS1 version, we also accept special leaderboards for anybody that runs on the X Collection or the X Legacy Collection. So yeah, this is a pretty accessible series to get into, and we highly implore you to.
Very cool.
Mega Man.
Yeah.
Well, Victory Tempest, thank you again so much for your time this evening. Did you have one more thing you wanted to say, Vic?
I was just going to say thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. One more shout out from me for the evening before we end this episode of Out of the Box is that Frame Fatales is currently preparing for its next event, Flame Fatales, and run submissions are opened through June 1st. So you can use !FF in the chat for information on how to join the Discord and stay up to date with all things Frame Fatales. So stay tuned. There's another great show this evening on the Hotfix with a fantastic Frame Fatale,